that was a close call. I almost started without a mic. We're live. It's that week. We're finally doing it. Justice League Unlimited piece by piece. Give us a quick hello, Mike.
Hello.
And a quick hello, Jay.
Hello.
And we're going to get right into it. We're just no stops. We're just going to do it today because these things tend to take a little long, and we don't want them to take long today. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each figure where we see them in a competitive game, and, you know, if it might work in sealed or anything like that. And we're going to start with a figure who's been the laughingstock of the channel so far, figure number 001, Superman. Justice League, Kryptonian, Metropolis, and Reporter keywords, Justice League and Superman ally keywords, or team abilities, rather, sorry. He's got a trait, the Justice League Unlimited. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6. Remove an action token from another friendly character with the Justice League keyword. That is 100 points or, 100 points or less. And then the other one, I once thought I could protect the world by myself, but I was wrong. Once per game, when another friendly character with the Justice League Unlimited trait, you may change the result to a 6. Who wants to insult them first? Mike, you got it.
I'm going to take the anti-Tom approach and not be generous to figures like this in the set so as not to waste time and say, why would I play him?
You could play him in Give Your Opponent Your Team format.
No.
If you listened, that was an actual good reason. You don't want to give him the validation? Fair enough.
Honestly, I don't even think there's a team up that makes me want to use him either. It's a Superman without willpower. So, yeah. Let's just move on to the Green Lantern, shall we? Figure number 2, he's got 7 range. Green Lantern Core Justice League team abilities. He's 65 points. Green Lantern Core Justice League and Soldier keywords. He's got a special movement power, the as well as the Justice League Unlimited trait, which a couple of Justice League Unlimited guys can have. His movement power, all aboard, move. Green Lantern can carry regardless of the wing symbol and modify speed +1 for each character carried with the Justice League JLA team ability. Move up to his speed value is the actual text of the power. And then there's a number of team-up cards. Doesn't look like all of them are there, but Jay, what do you think of the Green Lantern?
He's a perfectly serviceable taxi and constructed and sealed, and I'm sure there are team-up cards that can make him interesting enough. I can't think of any on top of my head because I wasn't looking, but the kids one, the KC one is pretty cool, or Double Prob is pretty cool.
All right, Mike, anything you wanted to add there?
Jay covered it perfectly.
Beautiful. All right, yes, he's just your taxi type. I'm moving some things around there. All right, next up, figure number 3, The Flash. In Justice League keywords, in Justice League team ability, 30 points, 4 clicks. One of them is hypersonic and some outwit. At plus 10 points, gets you the Great Brain Robbery. You can put Lex Luthor figure number 8 on the board. Click number 3 if this figure would be KO'd. We'll talk about the Lex Luthor shortly. And he's got the Injustice League trait, which is at the beginning of your turn, roll a d6. On a 6, give an action token to an opposing character that's 100 points or less. Honestly, when I did my piece by piece initially, I looked at this figure, I said he's not that great. Then I remembered that the Injustice League keyword or trait is really good. And there's a lot of point bargaining here. Like for 30 points with some hypersonic and some outwit, he's okay. He's not going to change the game, but he's a good part of a probably better team, probably in a Justice League team if somebody comes up with it. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, you have to look at the fact that he's low enough points that he fills a Justice League theme or Injustice League theme team nicely. What makes him even better on a Justice League theme team is with all the characters that have that trait we already know about, where you could potentially roll and take a token off your own team. He brings the other side of that on top of it. You know what I mean? Like he's helping you get the keyword, but then he's got the other trait, the Injustice one, so you could actually put a token on your opponent. So I think you have to consider him because of his point value and because he has relevant traits with the new set. But yeah, it's not like he's going to run away with anything with those stats.
All right. Jay, anything you want to add?
I mean, for the points, his kit is just fantastic. Like, outwit, hypersonic, good values, good life length, good optional trait. Although I don't know if I would actually use it. I think it's better the other way around. And the Justice League trait is amazing. So, the trait.
Team ability is pretty good, too, if you pull it off. Like the 10 to 12. All right, next up we have Dr. Fate. He's either 65 or 10. Let's talk about how you get 10-point Dr. Fates, though. Duplicates of myself from throughout space and time. During force construction, you may add Dr. Fate at 10 points if you also have a Dr. Fate starting at 65 points on your starting force. For all characters with this trait, you have if you have 2 to 4 characters named Dr. Fate on your force, action totals +1. If you have 5 or more such characters, action totals +2. He's also got Justice League Unlimited trait. 6 range, Justice League team ability, Mystics team ability, future Justice League, Justice Society, mystical past keywords. Mike, what do you think of Dr. Fates?
Yeah, you have to consider him. You look at the amount of traits he has. Mystical is already a huge trait with things out there, especially Tri-Sentinel that isn't retiring out compared to all the other Colossal Retaliators. The ability to add in those other 10-point figures and boost an action total, as well as they'll count towards theme to help you get theme. TK as a support figure. Sure, you have to consider him. People are already building with him, so definitely meta possibility figure.
Jay?
This is the first relevant figure in the set, and also I'm mad at you for not letting me go first on the only JSA in the set. But yeah,
Jay, you like the JSA?
He's a Batman. He's a prime Batman enabler. The sheer economy of those extra actions, especially with Power Woman as an option. You have spamming Just League Unlimited for 10 points. 10-point T, like it's madness what this can do. In addition to the theme fluff, but that's just a lot of stuff in the set, so it's not necessarily even saying much. Also, all the keywords are amazing, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up we got Batman. He's got the Batman Ally Justice League team ability. He's 70 points. Batman Family, Gotham City, and Justice League keywords. He's got the Justice League Unlimited trait and a special attack power, which he has on his first 3 clicks. I'll take it from here. Opposing characters within 6 squares and line of fire using Impervious, Shape Change, or Super Senses decrease their roll for those powers by -1. A 6 is always a success. And then there's a bunch of team-up cards. Jay, what do you think of Batman?
Perfectly serviceable casual one, especially with the Batman Family team-up card, because a surprising amount of Batman, like I can't think of any Batmans that have leadership in Batman Family, which is annoying. But yeah, just for your casual games, I feel like he would be competitive if he was just much more undercosted because the attack power is super sweet. But yeah, I definitely can't complain for sealed or casual, but competitive. Just like a lot of figures, appropriately costed, not undercosted.
And for a quick reference, the Batman Family team-up card, if Batman is part of the listed theme team, he can use leadership. When he does, it removes an action token from a character from the listed keyword. Heal that character 1 click, so it's a leadership with heal. Mike, anything you want to add on the Batman?
No, once again, Jay pretty much nailed it. Honestly, it's really about that team-up card is the only reason I would look at him in a competitive sense because of the fact that he would bring leadership. He has perplex. He could take a token off and heal a character as well as his attack power. That's sort of like the only situation where I would say that I could see me wanting to spend the 70 points on him to put him on a team. He's just so hate his whole defense line. He should have Indomitable. You should never be wasting a defense slot power for willpower for Batman. That's ridiculous to me. And I think he's just too easily killable. So you just don't want to spend the 70 points. But he's so. It's like he makes me think of World's Finest Batman, but he's so not World's Finest Batman, and it kind of breaks my heart.
He makes me think of Hyper Time. That stat line, and the fact that willpower has to be on dial. Though willpower started on the anyway.
Willpower on dial for Batman is just I'm sorry, it's stupid.
All right. Next up, we have the Prime Batman, figure number 5B. He's 40 points, 6 range with 2 targets, Batman Ally team ability, Batman Family, Detective, Gotham City, Justice League, and Martial Artist, as well as Police keyword. He ignores hindering for movement, and then he's got this trait here, something when gone you can never regain. Free for the rest of the game, Batman can't use the Batman Ally team ability, and whenever he occupies a clear square and is given a range action to use, incapacitate, mind control, or penetrating second blast, which if you look is on his dial, he can use improved targeting, hindering. This character can make range attacks while adjacent to opposing characters, and may target. So he can shoot while in base, and may target all opposing characters within line of fire. And he's also traded with Colossal Stamina. It's an all-blue dial. This is the character everybody's talking about for a lot of reasons, and one of which is the fact that when he attacks every character within his line of fire, not just his range, his line of fire, he does his full damage. So if you can get to those that like click 3, click 4 situation, or even when we were talking about Dr. Fate earlier, getting a whole bunch of enhancement to increase his damage, this character is nuts. And it's a Batman with Indomitable, so we're not going to complain about that. I can't think of, like, other than the fact that he's soft, but like he's super usable, super easy to get to what you want to do. Drop that team ability and do a ton of damage right off the bats. His attack is consistently 12, which means there's a range of up to 15 attack if you get that rule of 3 going. Like, I don't have a bad thing to say about this Batman. I think I've schmoozed enough. Mike?
I don't think anybody has a bad thing to say about him. I mean, he's only 40 points.
Yeah.
So all that stuff you're already talking about was already great. But at 40 points means you could build so much stuff around him to protect him, to boost him up. Like you mentioned, Dr. Fates. You can fill a whole bunch of Dr. Fates on the team and have a ridiculous theme teams. You're winning map, you're winning your scenarios. Losing the team ability, who cares? You could always put Nightbringer ring on him, and now he gets stealth from that, and he can create smoke cloud for himself afterwards every single time, so you don't care that he's standing in the middle of clear terrain because you just switch on stealth afterwards. Like, there's just everybody, I think, has gushed so much about this figure that, like, if you don't know, you aren't watching Heroclix stuff. That's just what that is.
Jay?
This isn't a problem with the figure as much as how people are going to play it, but I think that the builds I've seen have the issue of they go all in on Batman, and that can be a mistake just because if your opponent can there's some don't die, like Immortal Hulk gets hit once, he doesn't care. There's stuff that doesn't care at all. Or new WWE can't be shot, doesn't care. And also the other thing about Batman is that Jason and I can play a playtest game right now with it because he already lost. Hey Jason, you want to play again? No, you're already lost. Like it's if that figure doesn't get watch listed eventually, I don't know what to say. And also I love that WizKids put him and his best friend back to back collector's numbers wise. Like it's like they knew.
Speaking of, next figure up, Cadmus Labs Scientist. Project Cadmus and Scientist keywords, 15 points. Doomsday Sanction is a special damage power on the first 2 clicks. Empower, power, choose an adjacent friendly character. That character can use Battle Fury until your next turn. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's really more of a filler figure that the damage power is nice, and hey, drop him next to Batman and prevent Batman from doing all that fun stuff. But
it's a friendly, not a.
Yeah, no, you give it to one of your friendly characters.
Sorry, I read it as just adjacent.
Yeah, it makes the first 2 clicks ridiculous because they have mind control and incapacitate.
Yeah, right. I just you can never dissuade or discount a 15-point figure for filling in on a team, especially with Scientist. I think Scientist has had a lot of stuff pop out, especially with this set, especially the figure that we're going to talk about right after this figure. So there's always the potential there when you look at this figure. I just don't love what it's technically bringing. Empower, in my mind, means I'm most likely going to have this figure way up there, sort of in people's face, to make sure that I'm giving that bonus to damage, which sort of means for sure these guys are going to get taken out. So I feel like you're giving up some points from them. So a figure I don't love and I don't see myself ever playing, but I can see why somebody may look at it to fill in some small point holes on teams, especially moving forward with no more ID cards.
Yep. Jay?
So because post-rotation, it's really hard to deal with like blowing up broken equipment. Venom Symbiote still a thing. Remaker still a thing. Could just be good if you need to deal with shape change. And also, I mean, there's a set named after Venom and Carnage or whatever, so I'm anticipating a lot of symbiote shape change. Honestly, though, probably the best thing this figure is going to do is just if Unthemed Vulture is a thing, getting a Battlefield option that's way cheaper than Colonel Poison is probably where we're going to see it. I just don't see it on a scientist team, and I don't think Project Cadmus is really a keyword that is good.
Yeah. It's utility if the meta decides it's utility. All right. Next up is Star Labs Scientist. Another 15-point character with 4 ranges time, blank dial with Central City, Fawcett City, Gotham City, Keystone City, Metropolis, Project Cadmus, Star Labs Scientist, and Star City keywords. And then they got a trait. Welcome to Star Labs. Press the number on the keypad. Sorry. Welcome to Star Lab. Press this key number on the keypad for the division you wish to speak with. Free, roll a d6 on a 1 empower, 2 enhancement, 3 support, 4 perplex, 5 outwit, 6 probability control. Friendly characters named Star Lab Scientist can use that power until your next turn or until a trait with this name is activated again. So if you have like 5 of them, roll for 1, and then they all get that power. Jay, you get to talk about the Star Lab Scientist.
I think that it feels like it does 2 different things really well that you would want to pay for. So, getting the utility of the points of both of those. Like, the theme fluff is probably good enough on its own. It's not that killable. And then the trade is just really good, especially because you essentially, you can try for each one of them and then you keep it as long as you need it. And you know what I mean? And especially because even if they don't roll probability control, you're probably using it on a team where you have theme probs. So just the sheer amount of utility is pretty good, and I just realized that last click has actual not terrible stats, so you never know.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, it's so funny to me. In stark contrast to the Cadmus Lab Scientist, we see this Star Lab Scientist who happens to have Project Cadmus and Scientist keywords. So for me, it's like 100% why would I ever play that other 15-point figure when I would rather play a whole bunch of this 15-point figure? You've got multiple chances to get the stuff you want, prob or perplex, and Jay, like he mentioned, you're probably playing it on a theme team, so you're less worried about getting that probability control. So you're sort of rolling a bunch of times to get maybe perplex or empower or enhancement, depending, So I think it's a great figure, and for cost, point to cost value there, and for sure people are going to be using this to fill in some spaces on teams. Why wouldn't you?
I've also seen the idea of using multiples just to get those powers that you want. I mean, something like this, like Jay said, a lot of people are putting a lot of their faith in Batman on some teams, and this is part of that kerfuffle that's doing that. So,
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I would want at least 3 or 4. I'd spend the 60 points on them just to be able to roll to try and get perplex. Mm-hmm. It's 4 chances to get a 4, right? Like, absolutely.
Yeah, it's almost better than Dr. Fates if you're going for Gotham theme instead.
Yep.
Totally. Well, that's it. You play him with that Batman. You play it on a Gotham theme team. It becomes way more valuable. Hell, play it with the other 70-point Batman as well. Now you got some leadership. Take tokens off. Keep healing that Batman. Who knows?
Keep one handy to mastermind with the Prime Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Batman with Mastermind. Ugh.
Next up, Lex Luthor. This is the other half of the Flash combo there with the Injustice League and Justice League keywords. 30 points, 4 range, 10 plus 10. You can turn him into the Flash when he dies instead, and then his special damage power in his first 2 clicks. Leadership. No, because I'm evil.
Because I'm evil.
That's one of the best scenes in that show.
Totally.
That and the Flash being like, well, at least now I can find out who I am. I have no idea who this is.
Very timely reference.
Yeah.
In these horrible times.
Because, like, Luthor, wash your damn hands.
Right? Most evil.
Leadership. When Lex Luthor uses leadership and fails, he can use Perplex this turn, but only to target a friendly character. This is my turn. I kind of lean towards using him to come in if my Flash dies versus him being the starting point, and then when he dies becomes a Flash. I'm not plus on the fact that he also doesn't have either the Justice League or the Injustice League trait like the other one does. So there's slightly less front end utility on this character. I mean, sure, there's leadership, which is what it is. And both those keywords in a lot of cases can use leadership fairly well. If you go for like an Ultra Humanite in multiples, that's a way you could go is, hey, we have my 30-point source of leadership or perplex. So I'm kind of 2.5 on one or the other on it. I think both of these characters are good. I'm willing to spend the extra 10 points to just get those extra 2 clicks and that extra attack out of people when they do die. So it's kind of how you feel the direction your team needs to go in either case. One thing that puts the Flash over, like we kind of tout the Injustice League trait, mostly because when it works, oh boy, does it ever work. Like it just sucks the energy out of the opposing player when they lose that one action. So ultimately I like him a lot and there's a place for him on a lot of teams. But I think I've said enough. Mike, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. It is going to be about what kind of format you're playing. I would say if I was building an Injustice League themed team, I would start with this Luthor, because the fact that I more likely already have some people on my team who have the trait where I can put a token on. And his damage power is huge, man. Leadership already is good for the extra action. You're getting that no matter what. It's just the taking the token off that you're rolling for. So really he comes with leadership and mostly perplex in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't get the extra or you don't roll leadership and you don't get to take a token off, wow, all I do is have an extra action and perplex for 30 points on my team. I think that's totally viable. He's low enough points to bring that to 2 good keywords, 2 totally viable keywords with the current set. So I like this Luthor. Paying the extra 10 points to switch him out to Flash is also totally worthwhile to me. That 40 points is still good money spent, as it were. So I think this is another figure you have to consider in the meta format.
Jake?
If the Flash was on a better click, I would consider it more. I don't know. My main problem really with the figure is because you can't use multiple same name characters with team up cards. This is precluding you from using the Lex Luthor with all the team up cards. Mm-hmm. I think those options are really good. So I just think that this figure, at least on Injustice League teams, but on Justice League teams, it's probably fine.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, we have Wonder Woman. 90 points. This is like what you see is what you get dial with 2 traits. Justice League Unlimited, as well as the Princess Themyscira, which gives her Wonder Woman takes a maximum of 1 damage from range attacks if she can draw a line of fire to her attacker. And like I said, it's what you see is what you get dial. Mike, thoughts on Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I mean, she's okay. We talked about her before. She's nothing super special because, like we said, what you see, what you get. Outwittable, so you can sort of take her out. She's got, I think, 1 or 2 not bad team up cards, like the one with the Flash that at least gives her super senses isn't bad, and maybe getting prob with Black Canary isn't so bad, but nothing special there. I don't think you're really looking at wasting 90 points on your team, which is almost a 30-year build on this figure.
Mm-hmm. Jay?
Perfectly fine for casual, and if you need to use the Amazo team-up card and you're not getting the starter, this is just a good, easy common to get when the set comes out, just to trigger that effect.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, we have the Joker. He's 50 points, 4 range, Batman enemy team ability, Arkham Asylum celebrity, Gotham City Underworld Injustice League keywords. Plus 20 time bombs on the strip. During force construction, you may add 2 of the same figure Joker to your starting force on the click number 1 that appears after the orange KO. They have a 0 point value for all effects, including scoring, but you don't have to reveal any Joker point value until required. He's got a special movement power, which is on the first 2 clicks or all of the, actually it's the first 2 clicks of either dial because there's a last click on the other one. Which gives him leap, climb, plasticity, sidestep, and stealth. Special defense power, boom, which is only on the ones that you get from paying the extra 20. Stop. When this click is first revealed, deal 1 penetrating damage to all adjacent characters, then KO the Joker. And then he's got a special damage power, shape change. When Joker uses it and succeeds, after resolutions, you may generate within range and line of fire another Joker on the click number 1 that appears after the orange KO. They have 0-point value for all effects, including scoring. That's called Oops, I Did It Again. I love it. Jay, what do you think of the Joker?
I think he definitely has potential. Celebrity keyword is surprisingly good, especially depending on what the next wave of WWE and whatever convention exclusives we get there. The name keywords are fine. Justice League it's all fine, except again, Justice League has Amazo and Luthor with team-up cards, so you don't want to do the extra copies to start. I tried it on an unthemed Immortal Hulk team just for Vengeance token fodder. That was fun. It's probably a solid B+ tier. Like, I think you should aim to get a couple of them just in case, and watch out for the keywords because they're pretty good even for the 0-point versions. Like, you can't ignore them, and they're really hard to deal with.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, I totally agree. It looks like an interesting figure. I think played with the right combination of things, you could give a bad day to a lot of people. I mean, he's got both super senses and shape change defensively, and making more of those Jokers obviously is only a good thing for you because those guys are going to blow up and hurt other people. So it's a cool Joker.
This common slot is crazy. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of solid commons already.
Amanda Waller comes in at 35 points with Suicide Squad team ability and 5 range. Politician, Project Cadmus, Soldier, and Suicide Squad keywords. National Security is her special damage power across all 3 of her clicks. Leadership, but succeeds on a 4-6. When Amanda Waller uses it and the result is a 6, instead of the normal effect, you may remove an action token from a friendly character of 100 points or less anywhere on the map. Jay, you start on this one?
I just went first.
You just went first. That's me. This is a great leadership character. Like, for 35 points, it gets you leadership, and that's, like, good. Doesn't necessarily have a range if you have the 6. It's just a problem of keywords in this case. Like, Politician and Soldier are pretty good. Politician is getting a boost. Soldier's kind of gone on the wayside, but it's always existed. So just if you look for that team, it's there. Project Cadmus, Suicide Squad, less on the competitive side. So, but if you're looking for leadership on one of those non-themed teams, there is no theming requirement as far as her rolling a 6 is concerned. So, it's just, there's nothing wrong with leadership. It's just better on a theme team, of course, in this case, because you have to roll that 6 to make it work on not a theme team. So 2.5, one or the other. On a theme team, a little better. On a not theme team, not great, but a possible include if you're desperate for leadership. But I'm not seeing this in competitive play myself. Mike?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, I like the idea of her, and I like Suicide Squad characters, and I like the theme. So, of course, I look at this figure. I'm like, oh, yeah, I could build with it. But overall, as I keep looking at it, I don't really think it's bringing me enough for the points with the keywords. There are other leadership characters out there. There's just other stuff out there. But it's a good leadership power. I mean, 4-6 leadership. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. Jay?
It's ironic that she can't pull tokens off of Doom because his location bonus is really cool with her. I think the thing about her is that Soldier, I just looked at Soldier again. It's an almost there keyword, and she's just a common, so just why not have her in your back pocket, sort of thing. So, and honestly, her offense is not even that bad for the points. Suicide Squad is going to keep her healthy if they don't one-shot her, and if they don't want to really necessarily go for her, like, it's just annoying enough. I don't know. I feel like the chance of just pulling that random token is, in addition to like the 4-6 leadership potential, is just, it's probably just good enough to have as a just in case, as just for a common.
All right. Next up, we have Amazo, who comes in at, I just want to make sure. Okay, he comes in at either 125, 75, sorry, 125, 100, 75, and 40. These are all out of order on HC Realms.
Yeah, because the letters are weird because that's on the REV system.
So I'll put up the 125 point dial so everybody can see everything. I believe the line, whatever.
It's like every 2.
Yeah, it's every 2 or something. And
The last line is the last 3 clicks, I
yeah,
think.
so it's 3 clicks for 40 points. In Justice League, Project Cadmus and Robot keywords. His special powers are power adaptation. At the beginning of your turn, you may choose a character within 4 squares in line of fire and up to 2 standard powers that character can use. If Amazo is 100 or 125 points, you can choose 3 standard powers instead. Amazo can use the chosen powers and has the printed range value of that character until he chooses again. And then his other trait, Invincible Android Body. Amazo can takes a maximum of 1 damage when attacked by a character that can use a power other than willpower that Amazo can use. He's got Indomitable, so he's always got willpower. That's why they're getting around that. He can't be healed, equipped, or chosen for Mastermind. And then the way his team-ups work is actually you put the character on the sideline, and then they give him a set of powers, so you won't end up having to choose those. So if you take Superman as charged and super strength, Wonder Woman gives you energy shield and flurry. Hawkgirl gives you close combat expert and sidestep. Green Lantern gives you running shot and a range of 6. And the Flash gives you hypersonic and super senses. Whew. All right. So, Mike, what do you think of Amazo? If you have a favorite point value, pick it.
I like Amazo. I like him a lot. I like him at multiple point values. I like him at 125 points. I will play him at 125 points. Keywords I'm a little bit sad about, but it's not like I disagree with them. They make sense. It's just, I guess I wish there was more, but there's still a whole bunch of Injustice that you can compare him up with. And Robot, there's a lot of Robot out there. I mean, if you want to be a super jerk, pair him up with a Nimrod or something. I don't know. Just be that guy. The team-up cards, I hadn't seen the team-up cards for him originally when he came along, and I already liked him. I love him even more with the team-up cards. I would have Flash on the sideline, that's for sure, because Hypersonic and Super Senses seems pretty awesome for him to always have. And then he can look at a lot of other fun stuff to have. And that second trait of his is actually really useful. I know I didn't play him very well in our Roll20 game, but I did manage to take advantage of that defensively by picking the powers off of big people, knowing that they were going to come and try and smash Amazo. So I think that he brings a lot to the table, and there's a lot to build around him. And what's funny is there's been a lot of figures so far in this set that we're starting to feel like they were costed appropriately. I feel like he's another one of those who's actually undercosted. I mean, 125 points for those stats is pretty damn good. And again, because with these team-up cards, it's not costing you anything to put one of these characters on the sideline. And is this stackable? No, it's not stackable because you can only have one team-up card. Yeah. So, but still, to just be able to have one of those team-up cards, put it on the sideline, and then still be picking powers that way, and you get 3 if you do them at 125 points. I think putting them on a Robot team too, there's enough stuff out there, and things like Isaac, so you could pull in some bystanders and pick powers off the bystanders. I just think there's so much you could do with this Amazo. I really like him. I think he gets better every time I look at him.
All right, Jay.
I'm torn between the 125 and 100 point lines. Yeah, this didn't make or break it, but Tri-Sentinel not rotating was a decently big factor in how playable he is. Brainiac is the filler, the Robot Superman. And yeah, like there's so many POG options. Like you can play Earth-X Iron Man with the bonus, Danger Rooms. Like there's just so many options that were already good, and then they also just give him these amazing powers. So yeah. And also just the team-up cards are already so good, and then you should be able to pick powers to go with them. Like you pick Wonder Woman, and then you get charged from another character. So you got Charge Flurry, potentially 21 or 22 defense. But yeah, I don't see how you could not want to play this at some point. But the only other thing is it's worth noting that you can't you only put something on the sideline for one purpose. So like you can't put the characters on there for the sideline for his effect, and then they're also trouble alerts. Right. Like once you use this effect, you have nothing else on the sideline effect wise.
Okay. One of the things that I just wanted to add is that all the lines are good, the team ups are great, all the point like I said, all the point lines are great. And you could, if you do, like, you can feasibly use him as like a support character very well. I had good success with him. Like I've had 1 or 2 games in the sit case, but like you can use him with Shade, and all of a sudden you're getting probability control and super senses. And that's if you're using the 40-point version. That's in addition to one of these team up things. So if there's a team up card that you like, just put it there. And I want to add as well the budget of this character. I think the team up cards are going to be the most expensive thing on this character because it's a common figure. And there's a common version with the exception of Hawkgirl that you can put on the sideline. And I mean, that's just in this set. I don't know if there's a previous set Hawkgirl, so I might even be incorrect in that assessment. But like, it's not expensive to make this character competitively good, and I like that.
there's no popper version because there's no starter version of her, unfortunately.
That's okay. I mean, Hawkgirl is the one that gives you sidestep and close combat expert. It's actually the one that I can only see certain specific situations where I'd want that. All the other options are great. So, totally. Yeah. I mean,
this is going to make for some really effective popper because you can use the danger rooms.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Next up, we have Jonah Hex. Okay, he's 6 range, 60 points, Justice League and Pass and Soldier keyword. 6 shooter is his special attack power, which is blades, but for range instead of close attacks and only if targeting a single character. Jay, thoughts? Jonah
Casual
Hex?
fun.
Yeah. Mike?
Yep.
Yeah. Casual or sealed. All right, next up, Shazam. Shazam! 95 points or 45 points. Point out. He's Justice League Unlimited trait, and then Shazam, which is his trait. Close, make a close attack targeting all adjacent opposing characters. Hit characters are each dealt 2 penetrating damage instead of normal damage. If Shazam misses all targets with this attack until your next turn, he has Immobile and Earthbound neutralized. He's okay. I mean, it's a cool Shazam. I like that close power, but like you're not using it on the 95 point dial right off the bat. I think I'm more likely to use this guy at a 45 point value, but more likely just in sealed. I don't see a lot of competitive play in my eyes to him. What do you think, Mike?
He seems cool, and I do like that Shazam trait, but I feel like you need a lot of luck to pull him off as sort of the centerpiece on your team, you know, as your 95 point powerhouse. He's just going to get taken apart.
Jay?
He's another one of those. I wish he was under cost to see as competitive, but as is sealed, probably fine, but kind of underwhelming just because he feels like I'm paying too many points in the competitive environment. But for casual, definitely looking at him at the full points.
Yeah. All right, next up we have Vixen. 75 points, 0 range, Justice League team ability, animal, celebrity, Justice League International, and mystical keyword. I miss you already, Alyosha Craven. Ignores hindering for movement, Justice League Unlimited trait. And then Tantu Totem is her other trait. Free, choose a standard power printed on Vixen's card. Vixen can use the chosen power until your next turn. Mike?
Way cheaper, easier to get, less interesting version of Prime Spider-Woman.
It's a great assessment. Jay?
She's so close, but her top dial defenses are just not savable. And I feel like I look at 75 points and I just cry. But like, that's Jason Wingard. That's like I can't. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, I figure at the level of Jason Wingard sits at that point value. So yeah, I'm not, again, I love Mike's assessment. I'm going to leave it at that. Next up, we have the Cheetah, 45 points for the Injustice League team ability, Animal, Injustice League, Legion of Doom, Secret Society of Supervillains keywords, ignores hindering for movement, Injustice League trait, and cat-like reflexes. Once per turn, you may re-roll a roll the Cheetah made for Blades Claws or Super Senses. Jay, what do you think of the Cheetah?
Animal theme, Nightbringer ring, and Wakanda map bonus.
Yep. Extra rerolls? Why not? I can agree with that.
Extra rerolls. I mean, yeah, you play here with Lockjaw, the Animal, or the BC Black Panther, Tribbles retire, sadly, Wendigos. Like, there's so much there. Mm-hmm. And it's just really funny to look at back-to-back with Vixen. So.
All right, Mike?
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, 30 more points for Vixen's crap when you've got this figure plus the Injustice League trait. We already know is awesome if you manage to roll that 6. This figure is bringing so much to your team for only 45 points. It's crazy. It's like bargain basement prices. I mean, it's 11 attack. It's a solid attack. She ignores hindering. Jay already mentioned it. Put it on the Wakanda map. You're re-rolling that blades like 2 times. You got 3 chances to bust off a 6 for this 45-point figure. That's crazy.
Yeah,
just crazy. Is there anything cheap that gives her flurry? Because
You give her the arms.
octopus arms. There you go.
right, giant reach, flurry, and rolling your blades. Roll 3 chances.
And now you ignore elevated for movement as well.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You have
Was that Jay?
charge flurry blades with a reroll.
Yeah, because you re-roll the first one to get a 6. You still got to re-roll for the second one to get a 6. Gross.
Well, it's a once per turn. Oh yeah, we're talking about with Wakanda, right.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Copperhead. Back from awesome to Copperhead. Injustice League team ability, 40 points. Animal, Injustice League, Secret Society, Supervillain, Suicide Squad keywords. Injustice League trait. And then special movement powers: slither close, leap, climb, sidestep, plasticity. This is mine, isn't it? Yeah, all right, cool. I mean, characters like this have to exist in the common slot, right? It's okay. I'm probably more likely to use him in sealed. It's just I'm not seeing myself using this guy in competitive play. Mike?
I'm gonna give him this little small little bit of love. The fact that he's 40 points only does have that Injustice League trait, which with the right dice could be nice. Has a couple of keywords in there that you could build with, and with an 18 super senses plasticity, like he could be a tie-up piece. Like I'm gonna give him in the right conditions. If you're building a certain thing, his 40 points could fill a spot.
All right, Jay.
I wish he just at least gave Luthor a decent team up effect, but it's not even good. That's the improved movement, improved characters, and plasticity. Like if he at least had that, but I can't really justify this as is. Like not even any movement attack besides sidestep. I can't see it. Yeah. Sealed, even that is questionable.
Sealed is like I have 40 points left. Go Copperhead. And I don't have 40 other points sitting around. All right, next up. We're in the uncommon slot now. Superman, 95 points or 10 points. Superman ally team ability with 4 range. Justice Lords, Kryptonian, Metropolis, Reporter, Ruler. His Justice Lord's trait: when Superman damages an opposing character with an attack, after resolution, deal that character 1 unavoidable damage. If that character is not KO'd, immediately heal it 1 click. We saw this on the Grim Reapers in the Undead set. And then his other trait: lobotomize, free, once per game, make a range attack that deals penetrating damage. And what is it? At the 10-point value, applesauce. During force construction, applesauce. During force construction, Superman gains the Justice Lords and robot keywords and loses all other keywords. This is Mike's turn.
I guess I'm really looking more at the 10.1. I mean, he's interesting in 95 points. He's pretty simple and sure, once per game doing penetrating damage would be nice, but I think he's just getting taken out before that because it only takes 6 clicks and he's gone. So it doesn't really feel like you're going to be playing him with that. So immediately you look at the 10 points, you're like, whoa, okay, sure, why not? He's 10 points, robot keyword. Well, we were talking about Amazo before, and we were talking about Tri-Sentinel, who's also a robot, and there's lots of other good stuff out there. Isaac, we've seen tons of him getting played. He's robot. There's a lot of good robot out there. So for sure, this is a figure you have to consider playing, filling in those spots at a low keyword, low point like that. And he's not horrible. I mean, a 10-point figure that could have a 12 attack doing 3 damage or a 10 attack doing 5 damage potentially is not horrible. Mm-hmm. Flyer with sidestep, cheap taxi.
Yeah.
Sure.
Jay?
Yeah, I mean, you said cheap taxi, cheap way to get equipment turn 1 if it's a light. Good powers for Amazo to copy. I don't think you can really complain for 10 points. Like, if you ever get an attack with him at all, you're fine.
Yeah.
And the full line is serviceable for casual. And, I mean, yeah, that's a hell of a taxi for 10 points before there's anything else there,
Yeah.
I think really is the point.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. 10 points is most likely. Like, this is where I was looking at him initially, and I think he's just great. And oh, darn, I lost 10 points. You attacked him. Why? So, because you have to do 2 damage to him to kill him.
Yeah, you still got to hit an 18.
Yeah. So,
you know, we've all missed 18s before.
Many a time. All right.
Yep.
Next up, Sinestro, 75 points in Justice League team ability, 6 range, cosmic in Justice League, Sinestro core keywords, Injustice League trait, and then a special damage power in his first 4 clicks, Fear Renewed, Perplex, but only to target opposing characters. GA, I believe you get first dibs on Sinestro.
I like the idea of a cheap Sinestro that's this good for casual. Otherwise, casual.
Yeah. Anything you want to add there, Mike?
No, it's pretty much it. You sort of get excited first, like, ooh, running shot, pulse wave, with an 11, it's 18 tough. Yeah, you're gonna die. Yeah, you're gonna die good.
And no Indomitable's like, I stopped reading.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got The Flash. Again, 65 points. Celebrity, Central City, Justice League, and Speedster keywords. He's got the Justice League Unlimited trait. He ignores elevated and hindering for movement. And then he's got around the world in 80 milliseconds free. If the Flash occupies a square at the edge of the map, and the edge and that edge is the longest edge of the map or tied for it, place him in the same row or column on the opposite edge of the map from that edge. He can't be placed in a starting area this way. And then his special movement power, which he has on all 5 of his clicks. Across the city in the blink of an eye, hypersonic, free this turn, modify speed +3, but the Flash can only move in direct paths. It's Flash. It's cool. He's like, the thing is that around the world in 86 milliseconds, cool. You just flip sides of the map. You Pac-Man your way to the other side. He's very mobile in the fact that he gets around elevated, he gets around hindering terrain. So cool. For 60, like when we're investing 65 points though, I get a little bit more nervous on this, and none of the team ups really add to his heavy defense, other than Martian Manhunter, who I believe gives him shape change. So, long and short of it, I'm definitely riding a tight wire on where I would even consider him. I'm personally not considering him on a lot of my teams. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, like he's a not half bad Flash. I would play him in some casual builds, and he's an interesting representation of the character. Playing with a Martian Manhunter team up to get shape change does give him some potential longevity, but he's just, one good hit really, and he's just not bringing enough to the table to me for 65 points.
Jake?
I think, like, if you're physically, like, reading the card and you, like, see the traits and you see the special powers, you get excited, but then you see the dial is basically the problem.
Yeah.
Like, there would be so much potential, just the points, the dial for those points, it's not happening. And also, I think all the Justice Leaguers besides him have 11 team-up cards. He's just, like, doesn't have one. Maybe we're just missing it, but yeah. He already got shortchanged enough. I don't know why they would do that.
All right. Next up, we have the Red Tornado. 75 points with 3 range. Justice League Robot Young Justice keywords. Justice League Unlimited trait. Another trait gives him Gale Force Winds, which gives him Force Blast, Charge, and Combat Reflexes. Can't prevent knockback of opposing characters within 3 squares of Red Tornado. Size, multi-base, and other effects can still prevent it. Okay, that's just clarification text. And then he's got a special attack power in his first 3 clicks. Power, Red Tornado can use telekinesis twice at no cost. He's Mike's turn to talk.
If I sort of covered the screen and didn't look at his point costs, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll play this Red Tornado. He's a good support character, and the double TK is nice, and that Justice League Unlimited trade, it would be really great to take the token off. Oh, no, I don't want to pay 75 points for that, no. So, which really is a appropriately costed figure, but just not kind of what's going to work right now.
Yeah,
is how I feel about him.
All right,
Jake. Almost there, you know.
Yeah,
wish he was cheaper.
Yeah, it comes down to numbers. Like the trait, like the radius of the trait is way too small to be effective, and the cost and the stats. Like double TK would be amazing, but then you just look at the numbers of the points, the numbers of the dial, everything. It just doesn't quite add up. So.
Can I go?
I don't know. I don't know what this would have to cost for me to play it. Like with the dial as is, like 40. Would that be fine? I guess that would be fine.
Even 50. I would go 50 because of the Justice League Unlimited trait.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see it.
Can I go back in time and have this guy with my Freedom Force guys? All right. Next up, Batman again. This is 6 range, 2 targets, 65 points. Detective, Gotham City, Justice Lords, Martial Artist, Ruler keywords, Indomitable, ignores elevated and hindering for movement. He's got the Justice Lords trait. And then his next one, they'd be so proud of you. Adjacent opposing characters can use my control, but only to target Batman. Where is Tom for this one? Special movement power his first 2 clicks, running shot, and sidestep. Jay, take the Justice Lords Batman.
Okay, basically... I love negative traits when they like cut costs, and I'm seeing a negative trait, and I'm not seeing the cut cost. Like if somebody wants to argue that with me, I'm down. Like honestly, but the problem is even if you take away that negative trait, it's just there's just nothing here.
You know what he has over the common? He's indomitable.
I was totally going to say that too. I was about to say I might give him an edge over the other one because he's at least indomitable. But
anything else you wanted to add there, Mike?
No, he's like in fact, when I first read him, just like the other one, I left out the opposing character parts. I was like, adjacent characters could use mind control. Oh, that's actually pretty sweet, man. And I put this guy next to him. Oh no, wait, opposing characters. Why would I want to have that happen?
I think my favorite part is that in the show, the line "they'd be so proud of you" is sarcastic, and it's true. Like they would not be proud of this dial.
No,
like, this is more brutal Batman that starts with incapacitate. Like I'm not like same as Batman Who Laughs. Like a brutal Batman, but he's got incap and 3 damage.
Well, it just seems crazy because when you remember the Justice Lords. They felt like, okay, well, they've completely taken over. They've eradicated like every villain and lobotomized them all or whatever. So shouldn't they be like the most badass versions of them? This is not the most badass version of Batman. This is not a Justice Lord Batman. Like not even his attack. Like at least give him a 12 attack like the other Batman. Like how do you? I can't.
I think if you switch the dials and kept Indom on this one, that would be much better, more appropriate.
I am going to say I feel like if you look at all the Justice Lords, it's going to be in common. The Justice Lord's trait may be a little overcosted. That's my thought. Because like when I look through the Justice Lords guys, just, I cringe at the points. All right, next up, Dr. Emil Hamilton, 25 points. He's a team player. He's got wild card. Metropolis, Prodigy, Cadmus, Star Labs, and Scientist keywords. Invented the anti-kryptonite suit. When a friendly character within 4 squares would be dealt penetrating damage, roll a d6. On a 4 to 6, that damage can be reduced instead. He's got Mastermind. Jay got to start with Batman, right?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. Emil Hamilton's fine. There's situations where I think he kind of peaks, but at the same time, if your team needs him, I feel like your team needs more than him. But that said, he's got a place on certain teams. Just none of them are kind of standing out to me for right now. Maybe a good player with. No, I'm going to take that back. I'm just not going to finish that sentence. Yeah, there's situations where I would use him, but he's not like outwardly all teams sort of situation. That's what I'm going to say. Mike?
Yeah, no, I can't see a purpose to playing him.
Yep. All right. Jake?
I think if you had like a tent pole with a reducer and protected outwit, so then you have protection from outwit and penetrating damage, and I don't see it. Like the wild card is theoretically good. Like
are you taking this guy to prom or something? You're like really bigging him up. Like just let it go.
I feel like for 25 points and wild card, that's like considerable enough.
Star Labs scientist for 15 points. I'm just saying.
All right. Next up, Dr. Tracy Simmons. Metropolis, Star Labs scientist. Keywords, 20 points. Gravity inhibitor caller. Free. Choose an opposing character within 4 squares line of fire that can use flight until your next turn. That character can't use flight and halves their speed value. Mike?
Well, that's okay. I mean, it's a little situational, and I mean the half speed value. That's okay, I guess.
Can we go back to the common slot?
Yeah, exactly. I just Star Lab scientist. I would rather play a Star Lab scientist, and I still have 5 more points.
Jay?
I refuse to acknowledge this figure on principle because it's from a Booster Gold team up episode and breaks theme with Booster Gold in the same set. Like, why is this figure in the set?
All right, next up, Lex Luthor. 50 points in Justice League and Superman enemy team abilities. 6 range in Justice League, Metropolis, Politician, Project Cadmus, and Scientist keywords. He's got the Injustice League trait, and then a special attack power, custom made ray technology. Free, choose one. Psychic Blast, Precision Strike, Range Combat Expert, or Improved Targeting Hindering. Lex Luthor can use a chosen power or ability this turn. His team-ups are Jay, sorry. Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he's probably fun on Injustice League. Star Sapphire team up for Double Barrier is good and probably the best one. Although I think you're wasting the Superman enemy team ability. I think he's almost there.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just almost there.
All right, Mike.
He's one of those rare figures I like less and less as I look at him. I thought in the beginning, I kind of was like, well, and with this team of, I kind of like him less and less and less. I mean, I will say that we do like that cheetah, and at least when you pair him up with the cheetah, you could have super senses. But like again, it's like grasping at straws, and I don't know, man. Why doesn't he have outwit to start?
I'm personally
makes me grumpy.
Personally, I'm going to say I like him with Shade. I haven't seen Star Sapphire yet, so I might change my mind on it. And I like him with Ultra Humanite because he does start with Running Shot, 11 attack, and 6 range. So Running Shot Mind Control is a pretty solid combination of powers, especially when you consider the fact that he could use it to ignore hindering terrain. So like I think Lex Luthor is dependent on the team up card. And a lot of his team up cards really work with this character. So I think that's where I kind of sit with the Lex Luthor myself. And yeah.
Guess how many Superman enemy characters there are post-rotation?
Lex Luthor.
And Parasite.
Oh, great. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Can't wait to talk about him.
And this is why he needed top-loaded outwit. It's friggin' Luthor, man. It's stupid.
Well, I mean, that's a copyable team ability, though, right?
Yes, it is.
And he's a scientist. So, hey, Dr. Emil Hamilton, how you doing?
Stop trying to make Dr. Emil Hamilton
really
work.
Stretching. That's like really wow.
Hey,
stop trying to
I
make
did it.
Dr.
I made it work. All right.
Like, stop trying to make fetch a thing.
Green Arrow, 6 range, Justice League, martial artist, Star City keywords, 40 points. This team up thing is new to me. I usually work alone. Green Arrow modifies damage +1 when making range attacks. He modifies range +2 if he's not within 4 squares of another friendly character. An arrow for every situation. Green Arrow can use his displayed attack power as free. Does not affect precision strike. So that was Mike at the start. So Jay, you get Green
What's
Arrow.
that top dial attack power he has?
Precision strike.
yeah, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, anything you want to
Yeah, man, it's like it's like a tease. It's like you're like reading him and you're getting excited and you're looking at all this potential, and then you look at how his dial's laid out and you're like, what?
Yeah, if the push was to anything but Smoke Cloud, that would just be like fine.
Right? Like just side blast on the last like you guys are just mean.
Kind of reminds me of the old Hound where it had like 4 activation clicks, and even then it wasn't worth it.
So you've activated it. Okay.
It just feels like taking a lactose intolerant kid to an all you can eat ice cream bar or something. Like, come on, man.
All right. Next up, Static. 6 range Teen Titans team ability with 2 targets. 6 range, 2 targets. Teen Titans team ability, 50 points. Justice League, Teen Titans, Young Justice keywords, Justice League Unlimited trait, and superconductivity. Energy explosion. Static deals penetrating damage to characters occupying water terrain or with the armor, robot, or vehicle keywords. I feel like this guy works great with Tempest. I think it is from the Rebirth set.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm bringing that team to a casual turn or to a competitive tournament yet. I have to give it another look, see. But honestly, that I had to go that
better
far.
Find Chase Aquaman with the same effect.
But without, oh yeah, he has got Justice League, sir. Yeah. I don't know. I'm he's okay. He's okay, but I'm not seeing myself playing a lot of competitive teams with him, Mike.
Yeah, no, especially not with 4 clicks of life for 50 points, right? That's just not happening for me. He's not bringing anywhere enough for 50 points.
All right, Jay.
If I want to be kind, he's at least an attainable version of Static if you couldn't get the con.
Yeah, fair
that's
point.
Like something. Somebody's going to be happy that they made this.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know there's a rabid Static fan base for sure. Next up, Aquaman for 60 points. That's a lot of dial.
Skip Supergirl.
You skipped Supergirl.
Did I? Oh yeah,
yep.
Yeah. Sorry, Supergirl. Justice League Legion of Superheroes team abilities 100 points. Justice League Kryptonian Legion of Superheroes and Metropolis keywords. Justice League Unlimited trait. Indomitables, and she's already better than Superman. And then special movement power, which she doesn't have on all her clicks, but it gives her flurry and hypersonic. This one goes to Mike.
You might want to explain what Legion of Superheroes does because it hasn't been used in forever.
It's wild card. Legion of Superheroes is wild card.
Hasn't been used since 2015. My God,
has it been that long? Holy shit!
Yeah, Superman, Wonder Woman. Yeah.
I mean, I am excited to see wild cards. I always love wild cards. Man, I wish they'd have given her a little more pep, maybe defensively, because I guess that's it. Is I look at her at 100 points and I feel like she's gonna get just taken out way easier than you want her to. But meanwhile, I dig her. Justice League Unlimited is a good trait, and Flurry Hypersonic. I know you can't use them together, but it really gives you nice options.
Yeah.
Like if you're stuck standing next to somebody, wow, I could flurry them, 11 attack and 4 damage. Like, dealing out 8 damage potentially from her is pretty awesome. I just feel like you're going to field her on the map and you're going to be excited about getting that attack off, and someone's just going to vaporize her.
Yeah.
She just doesn't have that longevity, but I could be wrong, and she's wild card. You could pair her with the right amount of things, give her some Batman ally or something.
All right. Jay?
This is another, I really like the dial, but it just costs too much for consideration.
It's because you're paying for Hypersonic and Flurry at the same time.
If there was charge equipment, I might consider it a little more. Yeah. I mean, not including specs, because then you lose your other speed powers, which is the whole
lose the Flurry.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Aquaman. So I stand by that. Whoa. 60 points. Atlantis, Justice League, Ruler, and Warrior keywords. Justice League Unlimited trait, King of the Seven Seas. When Aquaman occupies water terrain, he can use Defend and Regeneration. His special movement power, Crashing Wave, Charge. When Aquaman uses it, after resolution is knocked back all adjacent opposing characters 2 squares. He is indomitable. He has have the dolphin symbol, and he's got a bunch of team-ups. Jay, what do you think of Aquaman?
How are you possibly going to set up using that 18 defend in the middle of the dial? When are you going to use 17 defend? Yeah, I mean, like you said, the dial is decently long enough, but there's not a team up card here that saves him. If there was one that like even more offensively, like even the super strength, it's just actually, you know what? If there was a Superman worth playing in general, and if you could use the super strength, yeah, but as is, it's just and the top tile reflexes, it's just yeah, like even more than the other figures, he's just gonna get super shot.
All right, Mike.
I'm gonna give him just a little tiny bit of a love there for the Atlantis team up because of the fact that you can exploit the fact that that's cross universe and pair him up with a Namor or two. There's a couple of
Well, not two, because then you can't use team ups.
oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
You can't join a
But
cancel name wars.
no cancel of Namor's for Aquaman. But I think there's just there's that outside realm again where you could sort of have a little bit of fun with that, and with the length of the dial at 60 points, it feels almost a little like, wow, really? You give that many clicks? So I'm going to give him a small niche market possibility, but in general, I think those points can be better spent.
Puddle Squad represent. All right, next up, Black Canary, 45 points. Birds of Prey, Justice League International, martial artist keywords with 5 range. Her special, she's got the Justice League Unlimited trait, and her special attack power, the Canary Cry. I'm fiddling with that. Penetrating Psychic Blast from Black Canary uses it and hits after resolutions, knock back all opposing characters adjacent to the hit target 2 squares. That's a great Psychic Blast on a 45-point character that doesn't have a running shot with a 5 range. I think that's my big takeaway on this. Like, she's cool. I like her, and her point value, like the number of clicks you get, the value that you get out of the dial is pretty okay. But what you lose out on is a little bit of mobility. I believe you might be able to make up for it with any of the team ups give her a running shot.
No.
Okay.
No.
So unfortunately,
You can glider her,
yeah.
but that's it.
It's I'm not super plussed by her myself. Mike.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is I look at her, and if there was some way that I could get her some running shot, then I would totally consider putting her onto a team because she could bring a lot of nice little bit of utility for 45 points. But it's oh no, wait, she's just 45 points. I'm just spending 45 points to put this figure on the map, hoping that I get her into position at some point where she can do this cool side blast thing. So yeah, no.
Anything you want to add, Jay?
I'm sad now because I tried to build a team, but it didn't work. So what you do is you start. She has martial arts keyword, so does Prime Batman. Then you get the Batman team up card. So you get her stealth, and then you play her with the shifting focus Black Widow, who stops improved targeting. Except none of the Black Widows have martial artists. So yeah, that's about it.
Sucker.
One figure in that set has it. I was like, and then it wasn't
it's like
her.
Of course, it was Taskmaster.
All right.
Nope, not even.
Oh,
the widows. What are the widow nonsenses?
Anyway, next up, the question: Detective, Justice League, martial artist, and reporter keywords. He's got the Justice League Unlimited trait. Question authority is his other trait. Power: if there is no D6 on this card, roll a D6 and place it on this card. Whenever a character within 6 squares and lines of fire makes an attack roll, you may remove the D6 from this card and replace a die in the roll with it. His special attack power, his first 2 clicks, is asking questions. At the end of your turn, smoke cloud at no cost, but only to generate 1 marker. His team up is, I guess, his only team up card is the episode team up, which gives him the Green Arrow, Black Canary, and Huntress are the choices. That's 3 characters. Anyway, Jay.
Budget Q, so that's like nice for people because Q is like $300. Yeah, his kit is good. Everything here, it's fine. You're never really using that team up card, unfortunately. And the smoke is nice. It's fine. I think he does just about enough to justify the points. If he did any one thing less, it would be a no. But he's just good enough.
All right, Mike?
I totally agree.
Yeah. I think the added outwit makes him worth the 10 extra on Q, and it's limited in how you get to reroll, but you get a character who's doing a little bit more, I think, in that case. A little bit different, anyway, not a little bit more.
Power action's not as bad as you think because of how many actions Justice League can get.
Yeah.
Yep. Plus Justice League Unlimited trait.
Yeah. All right. Next up, the Crimson Avenger, the prime of the question. All-Star Squadron, Justice League, Martial Artist, Pass, 7 Soldiers and Soldier keyword. 4 range with the Justice League team ability. 30 points for this character. With the Justice League Unlimited trait and Knockout Gas. Smoke Cloud is free, but only to generate 4 markers. When Crimson Avenger uses it, after resolutions, choose an opposing character occupying or adjacent to one of his Smoke Cloud markers and give that character an action token. He's got Poison, Perplex. This is mine, isn't it? Yeah. I like him. I think he's pretty cool. There's like the ability to just Smoke Cloud for free and give somebody an action token. We've seen what giving somebody action tokens for free can do, and I think like just overall, he's got a lot for a little, and we're getting into that like, hey, for 30 points he does Perplex. He adds some poison with while he's stealth and protecting himself in that sense. He can remove action tokens if he happen to be playing that Justice League keyword team. And so overall, I think it's the type of Smoke Cloud that's perfect because it's free. When are they just going to make Smoke Cloud a free action? Because that's when people use it. But yeah, there's some ideas I'm coming up with him. And I have been looking at him as a figure that I would use. Mike?
Yeah, totally. We talked about this figure before, and there's a lot of value there for the 30 points with the Perplex, with the Justice League Unlimited trait, with free Smoke Cloud, and the potential to give a token to somebody. Even just having Poison, carrying this guy around and making that free smoke and using the Perplex and doing the action token and poisoning, all worth it for 30 points.
Mm-hmm. Jay?
I think I gushed enough about him in that one episode where he talked about the preview, but he's one of those figures where he does like 10 things and they're all really amazing. And he's just hard enough to deal with defensively that he's a problem. So, I mean, yes, he's a prime, but if you're not using, like I said before, Batman Prime feels a lot like too dedicated a team. So if you're playing this random Justice League, it's probably fine. Like, this figure has to see play at some point. That effect is just too good. Mm-hmm. And also, I just realized you can theme him with Kobik with Steve Rogers on S.H.I.E.L.D. That's yikes.
Jeez Louise. All right, then. All right. Next up, Captain Atom. 100 points. A lot of dial. Justice League International, Project Cadmus Soldier keyword, 6 range, Justice League team ability, Indomitable, Justice League Unlimited trait, Containment Suit Breach, which he has on his last 5 clicks. Poison, whenever Captain Atom takes damage from an attack after resolution, deal each adjacent character 1 penetrating damage. Mike, what do you think of Captain
Atom? Mostly what you see is what you get. I think it's that a lot of that thing again. If we've seen so many other figures who are less points who do so much more, that do you really want to spend the 100 points on this pretty straightforward figure? I do have a question just in terms of the attack power. If you get knocked onto it, do you do the 1 penetrating?
I don't think so.
You have to have the power because it.
Yeah, you have to have it show.
You can't check for it, so
yeah. So immediately I look at how far down the dial that power is, and I feel like how often it's really ever going to come into play is probably limiting, at least that part where you're dealing the penetrating damage. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, you're on that click and you get hit, you're probably getting wiped out at that point, especially if you're 100 points and you've already been hit once. I would hope somebody's going to finish you off at that point in time. So it's too many points for doing anything.
All right, Jay?
I'm happy he exists in the casual realm, and we can move on.
Yeah, I think he's better in sealed. Huntress, Justice League Unlimited trait. When are you going to take me out on a real date? Is his other trait or her other trait? When are you going to take me on a real date? Q. Free. Turn Huntress to the same click number on a different color. Why did I think that? Oh, I overthought that. So it's running shot of energy explosion or charge quake with either range combat expert or close combat expert for 40 points. Jay.
Honestly, oh wait, no, Black Widow still doesn't have martial artists, so no, nothing
You
here.
gain it from the last time you thought about her.
I thought it again. I did it to myself again.
It's all the kicks and flips she does. Mike?
Yeah, I mean she's neat and all, and 40 points is cheap, but yeah, she's
there. Next up, Shining Knight. 50 points, Justice League, Mystical, Pass, 7 Soldiers, Warrior keywords, Justice League team ability. He's got one team up with. Wow. I'm just gonna ignore that. Justice League Unlimited trait, Charge and Flight is his special movement power on his first click, and that's it. And special defense power across the dial, I would gladly offer my life to protect those who can't protect themselves. Defend toughness when an adjacent friendly character is missed by an opponent's attack. After resolutions, heal Shining Knight 1 click. This is one of those, like, this is probably better in sealed than it is in constructed. That's the way I see it. I can see him being more of a nightmare for somebody in a sealed or casual game, but I'm not really afraid of this character's existence in constructed. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I like the team up card, and having a minimum value of a 7 attack would be kind of cool. But I don't think there's enough there with that combination of figures to ever pull off anything super magical. But he's a really cool Shining Knight, and neat that they've made him now for Heroclix. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Jake?
They gave the team up card to the wrong character. Look, if they had given it to any of the other characters, that would have been good. But just the fact that you have to play this to play the amazing. Well, I guess that kind of balances out how good the team up card is, right?
Yeah. All right. Next up, we're in the rare slot now, guys. Superman. Celebrity, Future, Justice League, Kryptonian, Metropolis keywords, Superman ally team ability, 8 range, 175 points. His trait, the Boom Tube Travel, once per game, phasing teleport. When Superman uses it, his speed value is 12, and after resolutions, remove an action token from him. 7 decades under a yellow sun is his next trait. Super Strength, Superman has protected outwit except from characters that are higher points or that can use the Superman enemy team ability. His special attack power in his first 3 clicks is Seismic Slam. Quake, when he uses it and targets more than one character, each hit character is dealt 4 damage instead of 2 damage. And his special defense power in his last 3 clicks, The Never-Ending Battle. Stop, Invulnerability. When Superman clears 2 action tokens, heal him 1 click. Mike, what do you think of the Superman?
It's cool. 175 points though, man. That's a lot.
This is a build round.
That's what I'm saying. Like this means you're tent poling him, and I'm always hesitant to that. I mean, sure, he's got that stop click on 3 clicks there, and in the right circumstances, he could be pretty tough as he's clearing 2 tokens and healing up a click off of stop clicks potentially. So it's just so many eggs in the basket at 175 points, and with only charge, I don't know. Like, it's weird. I look at him and my brain is almost like, wow, look at those numbers. 13 attack is pretty sweet. But I just don't think so. I feel like I would field him and you just get spanked. When you look at all the other things that are out there right now that are potentially at that level of point value, I mean, I just start thinking about that Chase Thor. I think about Chase Ultron, and for points, yeah.
All right, Jay.
I would like to play the Superman. He looks pretty beefy. I think in the right circumstances, he could be beefy, but yeah.
Jay?
I was almost gonna vouch for him, but then I talked myself out of it because Finn Balor exists.
Yeah, there you go.
Also, that trait's a joke, right? Like, why would you even print that Superman enemy part? Like, why? They only printed 2 bad characters with it in this set, and it doesn't exist otherwise.
I mean, one of them does get outwit. Oh, no, that's start.
Yeah, right.
But really, though, I think the 3 stop clicks are pretty good. You can heal off of them. the projected outwit is pretty good since it's almost like I don't know, like what are people playing that's higher points than this, right? Like I think he essentially just has like projected outwit. You can't Kovic or do anything really weird to except for Ultra Chase Thanos. I think if you gave him some equipment, like he'd be really obnoxious. Like I don't know, Remaker for shape change even, or 2 Mandarin rings, or I feel like just having all those top clicks and that healing. Also, just the eight range with Superman now is pretty good.
But it feels like you'd be building him up, and then if you came across a team that was all about like dice manipulation,
God, yeah, that 11. Ugh, yeah.
Yeah, I can.
If this came out like 2 years ago, I think we'd be having a different conversation.
I would target like it's not going to make him super great, but I think Exospecs is what I want to put on him, just to give him running shot with that 12 movement and 8 range.
I know now he's 187 points.
Yeah.
What's that?
10 attack on click 2.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, it's new Blue Marvel. I don't know.
All right, let's move on to Green Lantern. Green Lantern, 7 range, 2 targets. Green Lantern team ability, 75 points. Green Lantern core, Justice Lords, Ruler, and Soldier keywords. It has Indomitable, Justice Lord's keyword or trait. Sorry, the most powerful weapon in the known universe. When Green Lantern hits after resolutions, give each hit character that is equipped an action token. Then a special defense power in the first 3 clicks, which gives him energy, shield deflection, and invulnerability. Jay.
What's this each hit character nonsense? He doesn't have any of those powers.
Well, he's got 2 targets.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't see that. That's a really shallow dial for the points.
Yeah.
That
was my first
option. And even if it was less points, like that's still. Actually, you know what? Energy Shield 18. Like,
I mean,
if he was dramatically not even like way more than I've said for other such figures. Like if he was drastically undercosted, sure, but as is, I can't justify it really at all.
I have to ask: did the Grim Reapers win somewhere when I wasn't paying attention? Because like
you're very funny.
Well, I mean, like this Justice Lord's team ability is the same thing that the Grim Reapers had, and it's like, so why am I spending so much on it? I don't know. Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, no, he's too overcosted.
Yeah,
he's getting eaten.
All right. Next up, the Flash again. This is the Justice Lords. Justice Lords robot, 45 points. Created by Brainiac once per turn when an opposing character heals. Heal the Flash 1 click. Special defense power on his last click. This is the part where you kill me, right? Stop. Super senses. So right here is that character was like, oh, so I am paying that point for all the other Justice Lords characters with the Justice Lords trait so that this guy works, right? As in, this guy works on his last click. I don't know. He's good. Don't get me wrong. 45 points. This is a great character. Does it not have the Justice Lord's trait, though?
No.
No.
That's a shame. Because, Justice Lord's trait would really work with him because you take that unavoidable damage. If you don't die, then you heal, and then I heal the Flash. So that's kind of the interaction as to why that works. But for the 45 points, this is a great character that really works with characters that are not worth their points. So overall, if I ignore that trait and I go with the rest of it, this is still a pretty good hypersonic 45-point character, but it's not something I'm putting on a lot of my teams. That I don't think it's something I need on my teams unless I really need that addition on my Amazo. And, there's already sideline that I can make that Amazo get a lot of what he already has. So long and short of it is he's okay for 45 points, but I don't see a team where I'm using him short of like a robot team where I might be able to make effective use of. I might be over talking it. Mike?
Well, that would be it for me. I look at him and I say 45 points, robot, hypersonic the whole dial, 3 damage the whole dial, a stop click, with the super senses on it, and the potential for him to be healing off of it if my opponent manages to heal one of their figures. He can totally fill in a spot. He's got. You have to look at him in that respect as being useful in the meta for that alone.
Yeah. All right, Jay.
Even with the starting premise that he's fine, it's a keyword that has so many options.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to pay 5 points more for Danger Magneto. I want to play Amazo. I want to play the theme fluff. I want to play Isaac. Like, there's just no way that he's going to make the cut on a robot team just because there's so many other better options. Mm-hmm. Nothing against him. It's just a really good keyword now.
Yeah. All right, next up, Wonder Woman. 120 points, Justice League team ability. Amazon, Justice League, Mystical, Ruler, Warrior keywords. Boom Doom travel trait. A Lost Love is the next trait. If a friendly character named Batman was KO'd by an opponent's attack this game, Wonder Woman can use Battle Fury and modify its attack +1. And then Peace at any cost. When Wonder Woman KOs a character after resolutions, choose one. Heal Wonder Woman 1 click or remove an action token from Wonder Woman. And it's a what you see is what you get dial that flies and has Indomitable. Mike, you get this one.
Yeah, I mean, she's a cool Wonder Woman. I think she's one of the most interesting Wonder Womans they've made. She's got some cool traits there. Definitely being able to heal and take tokens off of her. She could be a bit of a beast. I don't want to think about putting her on a team with a Batman and losing the Batman and thus getting the Battle Fury and modify attack, because in my mind, I'm not building a team to lose points to make some other figure on my team
and I'm
better.
not playing a bad Batman.
No, and her lack of really amazing movement powers sort of makes me a little nervous. Again, because I'm investing 120 points in her if I'm playing her, so she feels very much like a very cool casual build to go with. But I'm not looking at her in Constructed, I don't think. But she does have Mystical, Ruler, and Warrior, which is kind of nice. Eddie Guerrero and her maybe could team up.
Viva la raza. Jay?
The dial composition is just really weird. Like the top dial, like the very first look is fine, but then you get sidestep immediately, and then you have super strength close combat expert, which don't combo anymore except for the knockback, and then you get charge again after. I don't know. Yeah. I guess the problem is that there's not enough move and attack, and even when there is, it's kind of spaced really weird. Like this is a now that we can see the back of opponents' cards, this is just too easy to game, basically.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have Blight. Batman enemy underworld team ability. 6 range, 70 points. Future Gotham City underworld monster and politician keywords. Walking nuclear disaster. Poison. When Blight uses it, and he has improved targeting characters, elevated terrain, and opposing characters within 3 squares and line of fire are considered adjacent. After resolutions, give a rad token to each character damaged this way without a token on of this name. Characters with rad tokens modify the defense -1 and are dealt 2 damage by poison instead of 1. Sidestep and stealth are his special movement power on his first 2 clicks. Exploit weakness shape change is his special damage power on his first 2 clicks. Jay, what do you think of Blight?
I see the top dial and the trait, I'm like, okay, and then everything past click 2, I'm like, what?
What?
Like, what? Like Pulse Wave 9 attack on like the last click, like Pulse Wave's nice, and then you go to like 10-4 on the. It's just like, what? Like your opponent's gonna hit you to click 4 and then finish you off. I just like I wish this trait was on a better character. Let's put it at that.
Mm-hmm. Mike?
Yeah, because if you could get him on a team with a whole bunch of other people with poison, that'd be pretty good. Because it doesn't just say his poison deals 2 damage, right?
2 damage.
So
all poison.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. But I agree with Jay. No one's going to let that happen. You're never. If you let this guy land on that click 6 and pulse wave you for 4.
You deserve it.
You miss the meeting where you get to read the back of cards.
It is going to happen in a battle royale, though. Like somebody's like going to snipe them so that they can do it to somebody else. Like it's going to happen like 1 or 2 times.
Well, it's going to happen to me now because I just said that. That's what's going to happen.
It's going to be a 5 damage pulse wave too because there's going to be a wall nearby.
Oh, gross.
No, they're going to crit miss.
All right. Ouch. Next up, Amanda Waller. 35 points, Future, Justice League, Politician, Project Cadmus, Spy, and Suicide Squad keywords. Because the world needs a Batman, during Force Construction, choose a friendly character of 125 points or less with the Batman family keyword. You're getting very specific here. That character has a future keyword. At the beginning of the game, choose a combat value. This game, that chosen combat character modifies that combat value by +1. Special damage power, which she only has on her first click. I might be old, but I haven't lost my edge. Leadership, Outwit, Perplex. When Amanda Waller uses leadership as on a result of 6, instead of the normal effect, she remove an action token from a friendly character anywhere on the map for 35 points. Mike, actually, this one came around to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So age and the same point value made Amanda Waller better. Because she doesn't just have leadership. Now she has leadership, Perplex, and Outwit, but it's all on the first click. It's all very front loaded, but it's a 3-click dial. So are you surviving an attack? No. But we're now at this situation where it's like, she's got Justice League now. She's got Politician, she's got Future, and she's got Spy. Black Widow's a spy.
Is she though?
I don't know.
Sure?
I might be wrong on that, but Black
Are you
Widow.
sure?
You can never be sure.
That said, this is just a very okay character. If I can fit her into the team, she fits into the team. If I can't fit her on the team, she doesn't fit on the team. I mean, that's really what it came down to. If she's part of one of these keywords, she's great. That's my call on it. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, 35 points to bring the leadership and the Perplex alone are really good on a team. Maybe there's a Batman family figure that you really want to put on a future team. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but, he already has future keyword, though, does he?
I think so.
Yeah,
but he gets
I
a
would
+1
hope so.
on the combat value.
Sure, but,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's not bad. I mean, compared to the other Amanda Waller, I'm going to probably play this one more than the other one.
Same points.
Right?
So
yeah. So, she's not bad.
Jay?
Reference the widow. All the widows only have Avengers and Spy, so very poorly keyworded. I mean, you have more options for Batman Prime essentially because Dr. Fate already has also has Future, so just more options. Future's a keyword that exists. I think Brainiac has it too. There's just so much support here, even if you discount the cool keyword cheating trade, good keywords. And also, even if you're not like keyword cheating, you just give a random Batman a random combat value. So can't really complain about any of like her kit is just amazing before like even if you just take away the trade, like that's just that damage power is probably worth it. And you maybe like mastermind onto a Dr. Fate or a random Pog or something. Like it might be worth it once or twice.
I wonder if there's a Batman with a really high attack that you could just give extra attack to. All right, next up we have Amazo. He's either 290 or 150 points. He is a wildcard team player. Cosmic, Justice League, and Robot keywords. 7 range for 2 targets. He is indomitable. He ignores hindering for a line of fire. Weakness to chaos magic is his first trait. Protected Outwit, except from characters that are higher points or have the mystical keyword. Characters with the mystical keyword modify damage +1 when attacking only Amazo. Cosmically evolved power adaptation. At the beginning of your turn or after resolutions, when Amazo takes damage, you may choose a standard power that a character within range and line of fire can use. If Amazo is 290 points, you can choose an additional character and another standard power that character can use. So this is like a whole lot of dial on this guy. That goes to Mike.
Yeah, I mean 12, 12, 20, and 4 is pretty beefy, but 290 points.
He's your team.
I don't think he does enough to be a one-man army. It's really hard to say. I mean, I don't think I think I'd rather play Doom alone, honestly. At 300 than him at 290, but there's big values. At 20 defense is pretty scary. Those traits are pretty good, but there are a lot of mystical teams out there, so I would be worried about that protected Outwit thing actually getting to work. And I'm facing off a team that's going to be doing even more damage against Amazo. Tri-Sentinel would love to mess up this Amazo, that's for sure. So, I think there's something to be said for the 150 point line and maybe trying to build around that. But I don't know. I don't think so. I just think that there's so much else out there. Again, I mean, I look at the 150 point line and you get 6 clicks out of it versus playing Chase Ultron at 150 points, with multiple stop lines. So he looks cool, but I don't see it happening.
All right, Jake.
This doesn't make or break him as much as I didn't think he was great to begin with. But if you look up Mystical Outwit, there's like Alex Wilder and Mandarin and Dario Agger. But
characters you used to get Outwit.
I mean, yeah, but then you get other power. My problem with him is that there's so much dice manipulation. He is going to be hit. Yeah. Like it's not. You're not going to lose every game because of it, but if you're talking about a tournament setting, it's going to happen enough that you're just not going to make it with him. And also, even if the only way to get prob is Crimson Sage, and then it's essentially you get it once or twice, and then they blow it up and equipment. It's he just doesn't have enough going on to justify the one-man army, and then the 150, it's no, super no. So.
I'm just gonna say, I like the common better.
I wish that this was the Prime instead of Parasite. That would have been really cool.
Speaking of Parasite, he's 50 points. That red line in the middle is where he starts, guys. Don't get excited. Legion of Doom, Metropolis, Monster, Secret Society, and Supervillains, and Superman Revenge Squad are his keywords. Superman enemy team ability. Hey, there's another one with 50 points. Oh, look at that. Energy Drain is his first trait. Plasticity, Steal Energy. Parasite starts the game on click number 6. When he uses Steal Energy, he instead heals 1 click for each special power and 1 click for each 2 standard powers displayed on a hit target's dial before they take damage. And when he uses it, he may heal past the starting line. I Can Do Anything You Can Do is his next trait. When Parasite hits with a close attack, after resolutions, you may choose a standard power printed on a hit character's card and note it. We can take notes during a game, so if you're using this guy, use it. You do that. Parasite can use the chosen power. Whenever Parasite takes damage from an attack, after resolutions, choose a noted power. Parasite can't use that chosen power from any source until he chooses to note that power again. His special attack power, which he has on his above starting line clicks. Precision Strike, Parasite has a range value of 6. Jay, you'd already kind of started in on him. Parasite.
So there's 2 problems I have with Parasite. Number 1, your opponent's never going to let him happen. That is never going to happen because I don't even know how you can make it happen. I literally just don't see it. You're going to have to equip him with the Auk arms, and you're going to have to hit twice, and they're going to have to be the right whatever, and then you're going to probably be on click 3, and then they're just going to blow through him again. And even if you get him all the way up, you're sitting on sidestep, an 8 movement, and then the dirt sheet part is cool, but it's never gonna happen. It is just never. It's
ultimate
just not.
tease.
Yeah, all vampire dials are a tease.
But he's the ultimate tease. He dangles the cheese right there in front of him. You really look at him and you're like, oh, 50 points, especially in a world of Steve Rogers. You're like, oh, let me put him on Shield, or let me put him on Avengers, and oh, I'm gonna heal him up, and he just looks like it's gonna happen. It's just never gonna happen.
I'm sorry. How are you even playing Heroclix if your concussion's that bad?
It's just, looks so good.
All right, next up, Green Arrow. 60 points, Justice League, 7 Soldier, Star City keywords. 7 range with 2 targets. Ignores elevated and hindering for movement. He's Justice League Unlimited trait. Then say dirtbag. Modify attack +1 for each friendly character that Green Arrow shares a keyword with that has been KO'd this game. Modified damage +3, but only if Green Arrow is the only character on your force. His special attack power on his last 3 clicks. Someone needs to be here to speak for the little guy. Steal energy, but with close or range attacks. Then his special defense power on his last 3 clicks. The Justice League goes on with or without you. Toughness, willpower, but only for friendly character that Green Arrow shared a keyword with has been KO'd this game. This guy is great if you're just sucking.
I was going to say the exact same thing. He is great if you suck.
If your game is not going well, Green Arrow, man, you're going to feel good about this stat line. But like to not get too far, he is a glass cannon right off the bat, like 12 attack with 3 damage, range attack, super like. But he's squishy, and that's the glass part of the glass cannon. So ultimately, he's not going on any of my teams. He's neat to look at. But I'm playing him in sealed at best. I'm not bringing this guy to constructed. Like,
doesn't glass cannon imply the cannon part? Like, there's not
12 attack. I mean, like, we look at a lot of 12 and 3s that we say are pretty good, and there's a lot of things that you can do with the Justice League team that, you know, this guy can be included on that same team with a Batman and do a ton of damage with him. So, like, and I've only spent 100 points on the 2 of them. I got lots of room for Dr. Fates. Who will make him, you know, lots of damage. So but again, that's the positives on what is just like not the greatest. So yeah. Does anybody else want to add anything, or can we just move on?
Yeah, let's just.
I wish that the trait had a damage bonus if you got to a certain number of KO characters. That would be fine, but as is, it's just another.
Because
like,
it's
what is
gonna
it?
be him as the last, then yeah.
It's not. It's gonna happen like once ever.
All right, next up, Static. Again, 100 points, 5 range with 3 targets, future Justice League keywords, Justice League team ability, Boom Tube travel trait, 10,000 volts of flying junkyard, which gives him energy shield deflection as a trait, and force blast if Static is within 3 squares of a debris marker, modifies Static's combat values +1. He's got a special damage power on his first and last 3 clicks, chain lightning. When Static makes an attack with more than one target, modified damage +1 for each target within 3 squares of him, and after resolutions, give a hit character an action token. Mike.
It sounds really good and exciting, but no. 100 points and super overcosted, and you know, you see the TK and you're like, wait, is he a support figure? I'm confused. Oh no, wait, chain lightning and triple target, but it's only a 5 range. What the hell's going on with Static? I'm not paying 100 points for this guy.
Jay?
Yeah, it's just everything is like kind of cool, but then like, yeah, I don't want my range figure within 3 squares of characters, and why am I using like TK with a 100-point character? Why is this swing? It's just a lot of what?
Mm-hmm. I think the only, like, if you can make the debris, he looks really good and has a really big stat line, but he still lacks that willpower until the end of the dial. So it's like, yeah, okay, if I can, what is it? Does he have to be in or within 3 squares of the debris marker? So like, if I have my, just as an example, Juggernaut-like character walk through a bunch of walls. Okay, so now I have my debris markers and I got my +3 to stats. To do what with? You know what I mean? So, it's more exciting. It would be much more exciting if he had willpower, if you ask me. All right, Supergirl again. 6 range, Justice League team ability, Superman ally team ability, 75 points. Justice League Kryptonian, Legion of Superheroes, and Metropolis keywords. Justice League unlimited trait and her other trait. Not so sure this is a good idea or not. Let's see what happens. When Supergirl has no action tokens, makes an attack. If she hit after resolutions, remove an action token from her. Or if she missed after resolutions, give her an action token. So like, ideally, it's like you either don't have an action token or you have 2 action tokens. Jay.
That trait just makes her an auto no for me. Like, if I want, like, you're gonna get that second action token. Like, I would literally rather her get a second action token naturally by using a theme prod first, and then you like got something for the token. Like, I do like the dial, and it's pretty solid all around. I really hate that trait, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a good one or a bad one. Well, like, I can't tell if it adds or subtracts points or it's neutral. I don't know.
I feel like it's neutral if you ask me.
Yeah.
Mike?
It feels bad. It feels really bad.
You don't like a figure that Punisher's missing? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
right.
Exactly.
That feels really bad.
I know two guys who just got like 30 or 1,000-yard stares when it comes to missing. All right.
Yeah. No.
Hawk Girl, 60 points or 30 points, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's got the Justice League Unlimited trait, I assume. Yep, I assumed correctly. Nth Metal Mace is her other one. When Hawk Girl hits a character with the mystical keyword, after resolutions, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. And then special movement power, which gives her charge and flurry, and she ignores characters for movement. She does have that special movement power in her first click for either her 60 or her 30-point dial, which is worth noting. Static, Supergirl. So yeah, Hawk Girl. I'm more plussed by Hawk Girl on 30 points personally, just with the idea of using multiples, ignoring her team up cards. As far as team up cards are concerned, I think the only one that really kind of makes my eyebrow raise would be Martian Manhunter again. Martian Manhunter is great on most of them because he gives shape change. The problem is choosing a Martian Manhunter to use in that case. But I feel like using multiples of the 30.1 could go a long way. But it's not super exciting. It's a 30-point character who might flurry for 3 damage each attack, but it's not necessarily a... it fits in with the Eddie Guerrero strategy and the fact that she's a warrior as well. So, take her to leave it. It's not. It's a piece of a whole as opposed to like, oh my gosh, but there's some degree of consideration for her in my opinion. Mike,
I think she's low enough points with solid enough stats that you have to consider her. A flyer as well, which means she can be a solid attacking taxi. You already mentioned Warrior, so she pairs up with Eddie Guerrero, and you could find the team up card in there. Though honestly, I feel like she still just plays better either at 60 or 30 as just being a good fill-in point, solid attacker. I mean, 12 attack flurry with 3 damage is pretty amazing.
Jay,
I like her at 30 with the Batman card a lot. Because 18 reflex and stealth. I guess if you're not playing anything compatible with their team up cards, I agree on the 30-point swarm idea. I mean, if I see Warrior, I always think about it because Eddie Guerrero, like just automatically. So
Eddie Guerrero has his own theme.
well, yeah, it's him and other characters that have a keyword that he has alone. Yeah.
All right. Next up, Martian Manhunter. He's 100 points or he's 50 points, and it's either a 7-click or 4-click dial. Justice League Unlimited trait, shape-shifting intangibility is another trait, which gives him shape-change and super senses as a part of a trait. When Martian Manhunter uses shape-change to succeeds, you may change the target of the attack to a character other than the attacker that is adjacent to Martian Manhunter, even if otherwise an illegal target. And then special movement power, I am not from around here. Mind control, phasing teleport. When Martian Manhunter uses phasing teleport and moves 4 squares or less, after resolutions, he can make a close attack. Jay gets this one, right?
Guess what my favorite team up card is? Too late. It's the Flash one. Why?
There's a lot of them. It's like, why does he need what? Carry on.
I kind of like what he does, but then the starter version exists, and it's just like leagues better and does just enough similarly that I'm like, yeah, no. Like, what is he at lower 50? Like, it's
50, yeah.
That's a little short for me. I just can't justify it when I could play that other version for 40.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I really don't understand why they did that. Why did they make that Flash team-up card? Did they completely miss the fact that they gave him traded super senses?
It's literally never going to matter. Literally.
Like, it is. It's the most pointless. Like, you wasted cardboard printing that card. Anyway. Martian Manhunter is interesting. I definitely think he gets a lot more punch because of the fact that he's got shape change and super senses traded. We've seen how often that rollout can work for you, and the added bit of switching a target, potentially making it an opposing character, would be pretty cool. I just look at playing him at 50 points more than I would ever consider playing him at the 100 points. Maybe throw a ring on him, like a TK ring, and make him more of a support guy for TK with willpower and leadership with those rollouts. But he's okay.
Next up, Speedy, 45 points, 6 range, Justice League Outlaws, Outsiders, 7 Soldiers, and Teen Titans keywords, Justice League Unlimited trait, Quantum Arrow, power, once per game, choose a square within range and line of fire, then Speedy can use Pulse Wave at no cost as if he occupied that square. Then his special movement power on his first 2 clicks, which gives him leap, climb, and running shot. I wish those powers worked together, but they do not. He's 45 points. He's pretty good. The quantum arrow can come in a nutshell. If you're lined up properly. I mean, a good TK can help with that. I definitely use him over the rare Green Arrow, just depending on the team that I'm running. All of his keywords are named keywords, so that's not necessarily a bad thing, but probably leaning Justice League for him if I'm running that team. And again, for 45 points, he does a lot for value. So I'm pretty cool with Speedy. What do you think, Mike?
I would be pretty surprised if I ever played him, though. Giving him that once per turn Pulse Wave trait and the Justice League Unlimited trait does give more value to his only 45 point value. There's worse stuff out there in Heroclix for 45 points. He's definitely loaded a lot for 45 points, but I still can't see me spending that. I don't see him bringing enough to a team really to fill that spot.
Jake?
Yeah, before I looked at the dial again, I was like, yeah, the dial's good enough, and then you have the Pulse Wave trait on top. But yeah, the dial, it feels like it should be fine for the points, but it just, like, the first 2 clicks are fine, and then it's nothing. Like, it feels like you have to go all in on the trait, and then it's like, but why? Sort of thing. I mean, maybe if there's some, like, super combo with it, like you're playing specifically for the trait, but I don't know if that team exists right now.
All right, next up, Vigilante. Justice League team ability, 6 range, 40 points. Justice League pass, 7 soldiers keywords. Justice League Unlimited trait. Gonna lasso me up some bad guys. Once per turn, when Vigilante makes a range attack targeting a single opposing character and hits, you may choose that attack deals no damage. If you do, give the hit target and all opposing characters adjacent to it an action token, and they gain immobile until your next turn. Special attack power she has on his last 3 clicks. So that was his first. That was his special attack power on his first 2 clicks. Special damage power on his last 3 clicks. Trick shooting once per turn. When Vigilante makes a range attack after resolutions, roll a d6 on a 5 or 6. Make a range attack. Mike, Vigilante.
Well, he's pretty cool for 40 points. Definitely, I like that a special attack power. To mobilize a large group of people. 11 attack isn't bad. He's a cool vigilante. I mean, I don't think I'd ever expected them to make a vigilante that actually has something to it. I don't. Once again, it feels a bit niche market though. Like you're somehow building a team and trying to utilize that attack power in a certain way. So now you've skewed your build towards sort of building him off to pull it off. So I don't know if that's really what you want to do, but he's a cool vigilante. I don't see him making a splash in the meta though.
Jay?
I like the attack power until I remember that I would just rather use the Trouble Alert Wonder Woman with her cool lasso power. Like, you could play her for 30 points and carry her and use it as a free, or Trouble her in, or just don't. I will play him in casual, for sure, but other than that, yeah, the effect is just not on the right character. It feels like a lot of the characters in this set.
For me, everything about him is like, would be nice if it worked in every situation. All right, next up, Shade. 45 points in Justice League team ability, 5 range. In Justice League, Legion of Doom, Mystical, Secret Society, Supervillains keywords. In Justice League trait, next trait, Shadow Portals. Stealth, passenger 3, but only to carry characters that occupy smoke cloud markers, even if they're not adjacent. Then special movement power, Bending the Darkness. Poison, Smoke Cloud. Smoke Cloud is free, but he can only generate a number of markers equal to the total number of action tokens on opposing characters, up to a maximum of 6. Jay, what do you think of Shade?
I think I like his kit, and also just the carrying non-adjacent is really, really cool, especially because it's 5 range. Theoretically, you can not even have line of fire to them. That's pretty neat. And I also just realized a team with him and Pixie, the new Pixie, is going to be really stupid. But I already want to build it right now, just because it sounds really dumb, just on principle.
All right, Mike?
Yeah, I love Shade. I think it's a great figure, great utility piece, support piece coming in. Mystical keyword, we already know Mystical is really good. Being able to carry people around, create smoke for free, do some poisoning, potentially put a token on a 100-point figure or less with the Injustice League keyword. Just top-loaded prob. I lots of great things going on with this Shade. Very useful figure.
Yeah, really great utility support character. All right, last rare, Solomon Grundy. 75 points in Justice League team ability. Brute, Gotham City Underworld, Injustice League, Injustice Society, Monster, Mystical keywords, Injustice League trait, and then Life and Death of Solomon Grundy. Free. Turn Solomon Grundy's dial to the same click number on a different color. The first time Solomon Grundy would be KO'd, instead, turn him to either click number 1, and he can't use his trait for the rest of the game. That's Protected Pulse Wave. Jay did Shade, so Solomon Grundy, it's not Immortal Hulk, I think, is the best takeaway on this. Right? It's cool, and I think this is going to be one of those characters like, wow, this is a really good sealed character. But he's going to falter on the fact that he's not Immortal Hulk. So that's what I see in it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's neat, but I don't. He's not interesting me. I think I got spoiled by that old Solomon Grundy from way back, the one that Jay loves to play.
The Superman Legion Superheroes one.
Yeah, the healing and the hindering and all that. He's such a great Solomon Grundy he's tainted every Solomon Grundy since. So
it's my Trinity War Batman.
Yeah, there you go.
Jay.
You can't compare anything to Immortal Hulk. Like, you can't compare anything. Like, that's not a baseline. That's like comparing anything to Haha Joker. Like, they don't exist in the same game. We know this. Even if you don't consider Immortal Hulk existing, I just don't think it's good enough, even with the longevity. Like, you got a 5 squared charge Quake for. And then he gets killed pretty easily. Like, he gets killed pretty easily either time. And then it's just like, I guess for the 75 points, it's fine for casual, sealed. I
repeat, not Immortal Hulk. All right.
There's no...
He's trying to do the same things.
Oh.
All right, Batman Beyond. 6 range with 2 targets, Batman ally team ability, 125 points or 75 points. He's got armor, Batman family, detective. Oh look, future, Gotham City, Justice League, martial artist, Project Cadmus. Ignores hindering for line of fire. He's got the boom to travel trait, multi-spectrum camouflage. Opposing characters can't draw line of fire to Batman Beyond if he's adjacent to blocking terrain. It doesn't specify printed blocking terrain, so use your barriers as you feel. Special attack power on his first 3 or his last 2 clicks. Some looks never go out of style. Precision strike, free. Choose 1 to use until your next turn. Blaze Claw's Fangs, energy explosion, incapacitates, poison, or smoke cloud. His special damage power, which he has on the same clicks. Tomorrow night, a different kind of bad. Leadership, free. Choose 1 to use until your next turn. Close combat, expert, perplex, outwit, or shape change. So, Mike.
I like him a lot, mostly because there's a lot of different ways to play him. A lot of keywords there, so you could build off a lot of teams. The sort of minor pick of power, both on the attack and the damage, give you sort of very versatile ways of playing this figure. I love the multi-spectrum camouflage trait. That's pretty awesome. I will admit, his defense makes me sad in that it's just 18 invulnerable, because that sort of inherently feels soft. But again, with Batman ally, with multi-spectrum camouflage, and with picking potentially shape change, there's a lot of defensive potential to him. I love that he also has improved targeting, ignores hindering on a flying running shot multi-targeting character. So that's pretty good, especially because he has precision strike, especially because he has energy explosion. So I think this Batman brings a lot to the table. And you also have to remember we've still got Bruce Wayne from Batman the Animated Series as a legal figure, right? That set didn't rotate out.
No, I think that's the earliest legal set after.
Yeah, and he pairs up very nicely with this Batman, making him his what's the
apprentice.
name of the thing? There it is, making him his apprentice, because of the fact that that whole if the apprentice is named Batman Beyond, then you can increase that whole reroll attack roll thing by 1. So I really like this Batman Beyond. I think it's a great representation of him, and in fact, he's not really that much different than past ones we've seen.
Jay,
the trait and the martial artist, the trait and the future keyword makes you want to play him with Asuka. That just seems like a start to a team. I was joking when I started it, but I started convincing myself more about it.
Nobody's ready for
again,
Batman Beyond with Asuka.
No, not at all. And also, I like the option of leadership on a WWE figure to keep on using the signature move. So, but yeah, I think that if he didn't have that Lines of Fire trait, it would be like, yeah, but like an improved targeting character is going to shoot him like that Batman, but they can't. So, probably within the realm of worth experimenting with.
Yeah.
Or worth like giving it a shot in some playtesting.
Worth a shot in the dark. All right, Big Barda's next. Big Barda's playable at 110 or 50 points. 5 range, Apocalypse, Birds of Prey, Female Furies, Future, Justice League, New Gods, and Warrior keywords. Hey, Eddie. Indomitable with the Boom Tube Travel trait. Special movement power on click 1, 4, and 7. I think that's her first and last on the 50-point dial as well.
Yes.
That's right. Which is, unless you got an S on your chest, you're useless. Charge and Flurry. When Big Barda uses Flurry and hits with both attacks, she has protected outwit until your next turn. Special damage power, I'll kill you, you demented old gargoyle. Opposing effects can't give Big Barda action tokens or modify her combat values. Jay, what do you think of Big Barda?
I mean, I think I pretty much said this when we talked about the preview. I just mentioned a WWE figure. Why am I playing a Bruiser figure that doesn't have that? Like, that's the only thing that saves Bruiser figures in this game in competitive. It's just not happening. This type of dial does not exist in the realm of competitive unless they do something really specific and good, like Fast Forces Hulk or something.
Yep. Mike?
Yeah, that pretty much covers it.
All right. Quickly there, then to Booster Gold. Sorry, we moved off of Big Barda. Booster Gold's 80 points. Justice League team ability, 6 range, 2 targets. Celebrity, Future, Justice League International keywords. Justice League Unlimited trait. Crowd control, Barrier as free, but only to generate 2 markers. Special attack power, 25th century technology, incapacitate, knockback. Special damage power in his first 4 clicks. Skeets, Booster Gold's biggest fan. Perplex, probability control. When Booster Gold uses Perplex to target himself, he may instead modify combat value other than damage by +2. Booster Gold's pretty cool, but this point value makes me uncomfortable for what you're getting for the package as far as longevity and softness. This is one of those characters I want to like more. The Barrier helps a little. Justice League Unlimited helps a lot, but this is an 80-point investment on my team, and I think we've said it before. For 5 points less, I get Jason Wingard. So he's really likable, but his point value just it just makes me uncomfortable. Mike?
Yeah, it's too bad too because with that free barrier and future keyword, you could have paired him up with Batman Beyond to help make sure that he was always activating his whole camouflage trait. But 80 points, there's just not enough there, and he's too soft.
Jay?
It's weird because I'm usually way more critical, but I disagree. Although with the caveat that you have to add more points. But if you play him with Skeets, he turns into a cannon. Because you get +2 attack and enhancement, police team ability, and then his own perplex, his own probability control, knockback, potential knockback into the barriers. Like I basically think that there's enough in future that you could pump him up enough. Like you're gonna play the Waller, and you have so many support powers. You have Doctor Fates. I don't think that you're building around him, but I think that he could be a decent, unexpectedly good tertiary attacker on a well-rounded future team for Justice League. Or did Dr. Fate have Justice League International? No, I think that was one of the ones he didn't. But yeah, I think there is something there that's like B tier.
All right. Next up, STRIPE Stripe. 90 points or 35 points. Justice League team ability, Justice League unlimited trait, All Star Squadron armor, Justice League 7 soldiers keyword, 6 range. He's indomitable with a special defense power on his second to last click or his first click on his 35-point dial. Stop, defend, invulnerability. And he's got a special damage power on his first 2 clicks on his 90-point or his first click on his 35-point dial. Passing along years of experience, leadership and perplex. Unique modifier. When Stripe uses leadership and succeeds, this turn when he uses perplex to target another friendly character, he may instead modify combat value, accept damage by +2. So the 90-point Stripe, I think we talked about it when we saw him previewed, is the one I would use in sealed. In constructed, I would be using the 35-point Stripe because I'm getting perplex or perplex +2 and a leadership bonus. Like, this is Tom has described this as a win more power. So I got my leadership, awesome, and now I got my perplex, great, and I got extra perplex, all right, even better. 18 defend is not bad, and it's a sidestep carrying character, like sidestep flyer. He is indomitable as well. He can add a little bit to the damage. So for a 35-point package for the 2 clicks that you are getting, I'm not unhappy with it personally. But I think I'm probably aiming for a Justice League team with him, of course. I don't think armor is necessarily the one, just for maximum value to get that Justice League trait on. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I'm really only looking at him at 35 points. There's so much value there at 35 points with the leadership, the perplex, potentially a +2 from that perplex. Maybe even that 18 defend, depending on what you're building around him. It is a stop click, so it's not outwittable. So you can't just get rid of him easily. Vulnerability, you're not just poisoning him out or anything like that. And who knows? Maybe him and Arno Stark could be friends, and he can help him
That was
out.
one of the things I was going to say. Yeah.
Because with armor and taking tokens off and that perplex would all be useful things. So I think you have to really consider him in the meta because of 35 points and leadership and perplex.
Yep. Yeah. Jay, anything you want to add?
I think it's cool that, in my opinion, he's the only good character with both Justice League Unlimited trait and leadership. That's like a lot of token potential off of one character. The perplex is awesome. Defend is really good. It's just for 35 points, it's just a great little support package, as well as taxi, as well as leadership.
I was going to say the taxi too. Yeah, sidestep, flyer, 8 movement.
Like armor might be a randomly okay keyword, and yeah.
All right. Next up, Stargirl, playable either 60 or 30 points. Justice League Unlimited trait, Cosmic Justice League 7 soldiers keyword, 6 range. Starlight Snares is her second trait. Once per turn, when Stargirl hits a standard opposing character, choose one. A hit character has immobile until your next turn, or after resolution, Stargirl can use telekinesis at no cost, but only to target a hit character and modifies her attack +3 for that action. And then her last click has stop, energy shield. I don't need babysitter Pat. Mike, thoughts on Stargirl?
I look at her at 60 points, and I don't feel like there's anywhere enough going on to invest in that for her. Maybe the 30 point because of the fact that there is that stop click. So, you've paid 30 points for a taxi with Perplex, and who knows, maybe you get really lucky and you manage to get a hit in and you pull off that trait and do some TK at no cost to bring somebody over. I doubt it. I very much doubt it. But there is at least some potential there again in a 30-point figure that could help you equip, get you the Perplex, and can't be just one hit KO'd.
Yep. Jay?
I think the thing about the 30-point line is that because of how Batman Prime style goes, you want an influence ring on those teams anyway, and then you could just maybe do that with her. Like, that's just a thing you can do. I don't think there's very much good running shot pulse wave post-rotation, unless I'm just forgetting something. Not including, like, random equipment-based stuff, but yeah. For 30 points, you have the Justice League Unlimited trait, Taxi, Perplex, Theme Prob. Not easy to shoot, and then you have the stop click. And, like, if you have a way to potentially use the running shot pulse wave, your opponent needs to be aware of it, and then they're afraid of a 30-point figure. Like, I think you can do a lot of different stuff with her, and there's also like that mind game part of it, but then you're gonna be really annoyed when they pulse wave her on her stop and you don't get the energy shields. What a shame.
All right. Next up, we got Warhawk. Warhawk is either 75 points or 50 points. Justice League team ability, armor, cosmic, future, Justice League, police, and warrior keywords. Boom tube travel trait, and then the skies are my home. You're just a trespasser. Attack +1, but only if targeting a character with the wing symbol. Defense +1, but only when targeted by a character without the wing symbol. Special movement power on his first 4 clicks, or on the 50-point dial, his first 2 clicks, which is charge. Adjacent friendly characters with wing symbol can use charge. And then the special defense, Thanagarian, armor owned, American military honed, energy shield, invulnerability, and willpower. Jay, what do you think of Warhawk?
Okay, so hear me out. I just made this up a second ago, and I really hate that the only option is going to give Mike smug satisfaction. So you play him with Eddie, and you give Eddie the Beetle Pod, and then he gets charge for his awesome for his signature. Because warrior is a keyword. And honestly, I feel like even though he is a bruiser, I think he does enough cool, interesting stuff with that trait, and just his stats and his defenses are like, yeah, he's outwittable, whatever, but like, he's definitely gonna get an attack in, or he's gonna like let you make something happen. Like, he can move and not essentially get a token. I don't think immediately competitive, but I think that there's some. Actually, I guess overall, I'm going to put him in the fringe tier, I guess.
All right, Mike?
Well, I'm way more excited about him now. Now with the thought of him and Eddie in a beetle pod. Like,
also, I just realized that the +2 speed on that charge, that's pretty wow.
Yes, beetle pod.
Beetle
pod. He's cool. I think I'm just slightly biased because I'm excited to see Warhawk made. I liked the Batman Beyond series, and I really liked when they went into the future and we saw that future Justice League team centered around Batman Beyond. So it's neat getting a Warhawk. And yeah, with the right conditions, you could do some stuff, but he's definitely fringe meta, if any.
Okay. Next up, Darkseid.
Oh my god, I can't believe you just.
I did that on purpose just to make you cringe. So Darkseid has the Quintessence team ability, 200 points, Apocalypse, Cosmic, Deity, New Gods, Ruler, keywords. Omega Beam is the big trait here. Free if Darkseid hasn't moved or placed this turn, and if no opposing character is adjacent, generate an Omega Beam marker, maximum 1. Free, roll 2d6. For each d6 result, you choose the order. Choose horizontal or vertical direct path from the Omega Beam marker, and then place the marker exactly that many squares away along that direct path. If either path first crosses a square occupied by an opposing character, remove the marker and then make a close attack targeting that character regardless of adjacency. Or a piece of blocking terrain, remove the marker and then destroy that piece of blocking terrain. Boom Tube Arrival trait, which is Boom Tube Travel. Okay. It's the same as Boom Tube Travel by what my read on it here.
But not once per game.
Oh, that's right. Not once per game. There it is. Cruel ruler of apocalypse, mastermind. When Darkseid uses mastermind, after resolutions, heal him 1 click. That is jerkish. Special defense power, and then like everything but not his first and last click. Apocalypse armor, impervious, but succeeds on a 4 to 6. Darkseid reduces penetrating damage dealt to him by equal or lower point characters. Protected pulse wave. Ooh, that's scary. Yeah, that's a beefy Darkseid. It's 200 points, so you're going all in on Darkseid on this one. That's my caveat on this one. So, but in this post rotation world, in a world where this guy exists and there's a lot of potential on him, I'm gonna say there are teams that Darkseid will work. A lot of people are already starting to put together ideas that use Darkseid. If he's in trouble, he's got the mobility to get out of there with the boom tube arrival, and it's a non-issue with the action tokens. If he does take some damage somehow, you got that mastermind to pass off to your other 100 points of your team or less than when you're adding equipment to him. Overall, I think there's a potential for Darkseid. But it's a 200 point team, so you got to have that mindset. Some of us on the show might not necessarily have the mindset. It's not my go-to mindset, but I am currently adapting to Dr. Doom, so...
I was going to say, look at that tattoo you got right there. That's a 300 point character.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very cool Darkseid. Omega Beam is neat. You can have a lot of fun with that. He could be difficult to deal with. I guess what makes me nervous again is that he's a tentpole and there's no stop clicks. So, he's still pretty killable. Like a 20 defense on the last click looks scary, but in this age of we just pick up the card and look at the back and do our counting, it's very easy to pick the right clicks to hit with him and make him sort of not as much of a threat. So I'm sure with the right build he could have some meta potential, but I would just steer away from him. He's just not my jam.
Jay?
I mean, not everybody rolls as bad as you.
That's for sure. Like I said, if I can make 3s and 4s successful hits, I'll never lose.
It's almost like they want to design the absolute perfect tentpole, and they gave him like exactly the right tools. Like you have attack across the map, you have amazing defenses of like the 19 invincible, uncounterable, mastermind, heal him after, and then it's just I hate the phasing and then take a token off. Like if you're winning and your opponent comes to you, you just get to phase every turn.
Yeah. And
then they can't like Mike, like that one game, the WKO game where I was playing Black Panther. Like that's dumb. But at the same time, I can see him being built around. So I think I've said this before. I think he's either gonna be insanely oppressive or he's just gonna be nothing. Like I don't think there's a middle ground.
And that's the thing, like you said, he's going to take the lead and he's going to hold the lead. If he gets 110 points, catch him.
Yeah, and like masterminding to lockjaw and like not giving up points or, pog locations. What?
I said cash me outside.
You're never going to catch him. Ace, 60 points, 6 range, 2 targets. Gotham City Underworld, Project Cadmus, Royal Flush Gang. Batman must talk her out of her final psychic backlash is the first trait. When Ace is KO'd by an opponent's close attack, deal 1 unavoidable damage to that character. When Ace is KO'd by an opponent's range attack, deal 1 unavoidable damage to each opposing character. Her second trait, warp perceptions and reality, shape change, probability control. Other characters, friendly and opposing, can't use probability control except for theme team probability control. And their special movement power, drive you insane. Mind control, when Ace uses it after resolutions, give a hit character an insanity token. When a character with an insanity token attacks, modify their attack -2, then remove 1 of their insanity tokens. If they miss all targets with that attack after resolutions, deal them 1 unavoidable damage. Mike, what do you think of Ace?
I like Ace. She's cool. She's got a lot of little interesting things. Sort of this support figure, but with some cool extra bits to her. I wish the keywords were more rounded or spread out would be better for me, but there's some potential there with Ace.
Jay?
I don't know why they're twisting the knife in the set, like with the Royal Flush Gang keyword or the Superman enemy stuff. But yeah, I mean, she starts off as a really respectable support piece that you can't really get mind control by because that's just really bad. You have to like really think about how you're going to deal with her KOing her. She can do something that helps your team every single turn, and then she has that really annoying prob trait. And I also think that post rotation. I mean, what I think is that if you're not playing name theme or if your generic theme isn't like +10, there's no point playing theme. So I think unthemed is going to go up in popularity. So then she like really messes with those teams using probability control. It's also funny because she's not going to be on a theme team either with those keywords. So
Yeah. Your team
like Gotham Underworld is the most likely one, and even then it's like it's a joke. So, but yeah, I think she's probably one of the better characters in the set overall.
All right. Next up, the Atom. 40 points, Justice League and Scientist keyword, Justice League Unlimited trait, White Dwarf Star Belt, free, choose an adjacent character with standard damage symbol. Until your next turn, the chosen character has tiny if they are adjacent to the Atom. Ride along undetected, leap, climb, stealth. When an adjacent character is given a move or power action after resolutions, you may place the Atom adjacent to that character. And then he's got special damage power, perplex, and outwit on this first 2 clicks. Jay, thoughts on the Atom?
It's funny that you let me go first because I love the Atom, and also it's a really short one, analysis. They never need to make this character again. It is the only problem with this figure is outside circumstances of he was going to be really amazing with ID cards, like being able to carry him up and use Beast. Like basically he's like Micron, except not a prime, as far as the like carry and do like Sam Cappy stuff. But also like he just does so much support. Like you can carry him up and just like punch with his normal stats after outwitting them and perplexing them down. 19 defense, super senses, make them tiny so they can't use equipment. Like he just does so much. And then you have the random, I get to carry him up and he makes an action sort of stuff. So I'm a very big fan.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, he's great. He's a fantastic little 40-point piece. Fits on a Justice League team. Fits on a scientist team. Hell, put him with a whole bunch of Star Labs scientists, and suddenly we've got this amazing Atom. So he's great. He's fantastic.
Bill, take a walk. Why? Just don't worry about it. Why is he so big? Next up, Micron. 50 points. This is the Prime. Super Prime. 50 points, Justice League team ability, future and Justice League keywords. He's indomitable. He flies. Size alteration. Sidestep is his first trait. Sidestep, free, choose tiny or colossal. Micron has a chosen symbol until your next turn. Looks like I'll have to answer this distress call. Power, if Micron is colossal, place him adjacent to an opposing character that damaged another friendly character since your last turn. This action is free instead if that friendly character was KO'd. Hitchhiker, when Micron is tiny and an adjacent character is given a move or power action after resolutions, you may place Micron adjacent to that character. And then he's got special damage power, which gives him close combat, expert, empower, and enhancement. So for 10 extra points, you get 1 extra click. You get the traded Hitchhiker, which is cool. I am less like, I think we made fun of his look like I'll have to answer this distress call. Colossal retaliation type power. But if it's in a nutshell, if the guy got KO'd, it could be useful. But the fact is, with this character, you can move with somebody and then suddenly he can charge. Or you can move with somebody who's doing whatever, and he just kind of adds to them. So I mean, actually, I think it's after resolution, so like you're not going to get the empower or enhancement on a charge or running shot. Yeah. So, but a long story short is he can stay in the battle without and kind of get a light carry or actually a heavy carry when it comes down to it, without the bad side. So, Micron's cool, and there's some potential on this guy for sure. What do you think, Mike?
Micron. We talked about him before. There, you could play him in the right situations. Definitely bring a lot of interesting power combinations. Hell, I want to play him and Adam together on a team. I think there's a lot of fun there, and these are two great representations of the figures.
Jay?
I think playing them both together for the after action stuff is actually like a team. Like you have Micron with Empower for the Atom. You have the Atom with that wooden perplex. He's perplexing them down, so he's kind of an 11-3 without wit, and then Micron can close combat expert and whatever, and then that's only 90 points. So I think there will be a team of some sort starting with that premise and then going for. And actually, you know what? You can actually play. You can just play Lobo at 200. Who hyperson or no? Is it hyper? Is it power action? Yeah. So you can power action Lobo, move all the way up, make his attack, have Micron and Adam attack, and then or pop off Dog and make an attack. You don't have enough actions for all that because there's no 10-point leadership, but. But like that's not necessarily the team, but I think there is a team to be made with that premise of Adam and Micron just wailing on people after being carried or pseudo carried.
It might even be a Justice League team.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, Mongol, who's playable at 150 or 110. He ignores blocking terrain for movement and then breaks through it. Welcome to War World is the first trade. During game setup, when establishing themed teams, you may treat Brute and Warrior keywords as a single named keyword. The Arena Champion is the next one. When Mongol KOs an opposing character that can use Battle Fury or Earthbound Neutralize, after resolutions roll d6 and heal him equal to the result. Black Mercy, which gives him Steel Energy and free. Choose a character Mongol damage this turn and then choose Battle Fury or Earthbound Neutralize. That character can use a chosen power as long as Mongol is on the map. And then he's got Charge and Plasticity. Mike, what do you think of Mongol?
Interesting. I think under the right combination of obviously we like the trait where he makes Brute and Warrior single name keyword. We've already talked about Eddie. So that could be potentially pretty cool. I'm just torn again about any kind of figure like this who feels like they could just get outwitted and shot at a distance. It feels tough. He does create the perfect scenario for himself by giving Battle Fury and Earthbound Neutralize to people when he hits them, and then as a result of that, he can heal. And so there's a lot of ways of keeping him alive, but I just feel like it's almost like a lot of bells and whistles that are going to be much harder to pull off than you think.
Jay?
Everything I said about Barda applies here.
I was going to say...
This archetype is not what happens in competitive. The only that's why they had to make WWE work the way they did. That's just how this game works fundamentally.
Pretty much.
All right, next up, Star Sapphire is playable at 70 or 30 points. Woof. I didn't realize she was so low on the second dial. 6 range in Justice League. Team ability, Cosmic in Justice League keyword, as well as Legion of Doom and Star Sapphires in Justice League trait. And then press the advantage when Star Sapphire attacks a single opposing character with an action token. She can use Precision Strike and modifies her attacks +1 for each action token on the target. And then her special damage power she has on her first 4 clicks, or with the 30 point, I think it's just the 1 click.
Just the first click.
Yeah, which is Shape Change and the Mystics team ability. She's a Star Sapphire. It's good to see that carried on. Jay, what do you think of Star Sapphire?
The 70 points is way too expensive, but I think the low point version, just for a cheap utility piece that is just hard enough to kill, has the sidestep TK, has the Justice League, Cosmic, Star Sapphires. Why do they keep on printing this crap? Like, nobody's using half of the stuff in this set. But yeah, just as a little utility piece with just a lot going on, like a surprising amount going on. And also that trait is just, or the Precision Strike trait is pretty cool if you ever get to pull it off. So, yeah. Also, wait, Cosmic and another character that can give tokens with Kovac. Yikes. No, Son of a gun.
Yeah. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, the 70 points, there's no way I'm looking at playing that, but 30 points for a flyer with sidestep, TK, defensively has a chance to survive with the ESD and the shape change, and the Injustice League trait to potentially give a token to an opposing character. There's a lot of stuff there for 30 points, so you definitely have to consider her if you're looking at building Injustice League.
Yeah. All right. Next up, the Ultra Humanite, who's playable at 25 or 50 points. So let's pull up the 50 point. There we go. In Justice League, at the beginning of your turn, in Justice League team ability, I'm getting tired. Animal in Justice League and Scientist keywords in Justice League trait, and then special movement power on the first 2 clicks or the only 2 clicks on the 25-point dial. Far easier to use my superior intellect and mental powers. Mind control and sidestep. When Ultra Humanite uses mind control, his range value becomes 8, and he has improved targeting, ignores hindering, elevated blocking, and characters. The map. And his special defense power, which he has on his 50-point dial, because that passes the red line. I'll destroy you myself, which is stop and toughness. So we're back to me, aren't we? The Gorilla talks about the Gorilla. Personally, I'm loving the 25-point Ultra Humanite. And I thought of a few teams already where, like, just using him as part of an Injustice League team. He's 25 points that gives you Injustice League trait. And then he's got TK, he's got willpower, he's got sidestep to move himself, and then he's got that mind control at 8 range that just you can protect him in a nice enclosed thing like the underground map or any tight enclosed map, and he just uses mind control effectively, and he's a really great character, and he can fight a little in close combat. He's got 10 attack, 3 damage. I'm not using this guy necessarily to attack, but the ability to kind of slowly edge your way forward, use TK to get the rest of your team up, and then eventually join the fight from a distance, from the safety behind a wall, and just mind control people. It's pretty potent. Ultra Humanite is really good, I think. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, not even really looking at the 50 point. You got to look at that 25 point, especially because both point values start on those first 2 clicks. So really all you're getting for the extra 25 points is the 3 clicks past it, which is more of a, you've already hit him and I don't want him to die, and now I got a sort of a close attacker who's got some outwit. Nah, man, just spend the 25 points on that first Ultra Humanite. Like you said, he's a good support piece. He's giving you TK. He's giving you that Injustice League trait, and he can mind control through everything, characters, walls, all that fun stuff. So, so much value on that 25-point figure.
Yeah, Jay.
I must be confused because you keep on talking about this 50-point line. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, the 50-point line is when 2 Ultra Humanites show up on the board.
Oh, okay.
You tape them together.
It feels weird to say I want to equip a 25-point character, but Reality Gem for perplexing the second target with that mind control is frightening. I mean, he's only 5 points less than the Star Sapphire, but 25 points for that Injustice League trade is so stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm really sad that Starro doesn't have Animal now. And also, I forgot to say this before, but I'm really sad that Superman Beyond doesn't have Starro-related stuff. But yeah, I mean, how this 25-point line is absurd.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, even if you took away literally everything there except for that speed power, that's also basically what I'm saying is this is one of those characters where they do like 5 different things, but I would pay the points for any one of them alone. Like, it's too much.
Yeah. All right. Next up, the super rare Hawk Girl, 70 points. Justice Lord's mystical past ruler warrior. Justice Lord's trait, Thanagarian nth metal. When Hawk Girl hits, after resolutions, you may choose an object equipped to a hit character and remove it from the game. Mike?
Well, she is 70 points, which is not too bad. Got a lot of good keywords in there. Mystical, ruler, warrior, a lot of good stuff out there that you can build with. And, if you beef her up just right and she gets a hit in there, removing the right object from the right character could be pretty huge. But it does feel a bit like you're going to have to then gear your strategy towards it. You're going to have to sort of build your team with both keeping her alive and making sure that she gets those hits off. So might be a little too much work to make that happen, but I don't know. I think there's potential there. And again, I think there's potential there mostly because of those keywords and ways to build around it.
All right, Jay?
I think the keywords are the problem because they're so good. And there's going to be so many other better things. Like, I don't see how I'm building a mystical team and I'm not playing, like, so much, or at the very least, I'm going to be playing so much other stuff that there's no way there's any points for her.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like when you look at mystical, there's like 100 other things I would want to play before her. But if you're in your mind deciding, you know what, I want to play a game where I mess with, everybody I play against always equips objects. I think I'm going to try and mess with people equipping objects. It's a niche market thing, obviously, but it's there.
Yeah, I can see that, but then in the same set you have the Green Arrow who makes that stupid Pog that can kind of do that too, and that just seems way better. Like I get that she does something. I just feel like for what the trait is on the wrong character. It's a really good trait, but I feel like it's a little wasted here.
All right, next up, Martian Manhunter, 90 points, Cosmic Detective, Justice Lords, Police, and Ruler keyword. Justice Lord's trait, and then special movement power on these middle 3 clicks. Alien Snake Dragon, Flurry, Stealth, Giant Reach 3, facing teleport as free, but Martian Manhunter can't move more than 4 squares. Special defense power, regeneration, and super senses. Jay, you get the lead on this one?
I think I like him well enough. Police. He shares police keyword with Prime Batman, so I guess looking at him again now, his longevity feels a little iffy with just what he has top dial, but then I don't think that it's actually going to be easy to hit something for 6 post-rotation. So I feel like he's going to get hit the once, but then he's going to be really annoying. He's going to do a bit. He's going to have Prob do a good first attack. He's going to carry somebody to start, put them in front of him, so he's harder to deal with. And Justice Lord's trait with Flurry is pretty cool. I guess it doesn't work with the same target twice because you resolve it, but on 2 different targets, it's cool. I'm not saying he's like immediately good, but I could see justification at least testing with him, just because he's probably good enough on like Detective and Police, which just have less options.
All right, Mike.
If what he had on click 3 was what he had click 1, I would be way more excited about this figure. And just, I feel like 90 points and I don't know, like no traded shape change, none of that stuff that you would hope from a Martian Manhunter. I feel like 2 good attacks and he's off the map kind of thing, or 1 good flurry attack and he's off the map. So I want to like him more. I love the combination of powers on those lower clicks. I just, yeah.
All right. Last of super rares, Wonder Woman, 90 points, Amazon, Justice Lords, Ruler, and Warrior keywords. Justice Lord's trait, the President has fallen. When Wonder Woman damages an opposing character after resolutions, choose one. A hit character loses all keywords for the rest of the game, or modify attack and damage +1 on each other friendly character with the Justice Lord's keyword until the end of turn. Special movement power in her last 3 clicks, which gives her flurry and plasticity, and a special, I guess that's the defense power, Princess of Themyscira, which gives her energy, shield, invulnerability, protected outwit, and protected pulse wave.
Does that work for me? It's worth noting that they errated her second trait to be once per game, just because I guess it's really powerful otherwise.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And there's only one president usually, right?
No, you can play Luthor, you can play Prez, you can play. Yeah, I think that's actually about it.
I know when we were talking about this earlier, I think Mike and Tom are more excited about this figure than I am. I'm still not really all in on it. I mean, it's hard to get through those first 3 clicks because it's energy shield and because it's invulnerable as well. But it's once you're through them, you're through them. and then it's easy sailing from there. And it is still only invulnerable that goes with the energy shield. So it's one of those situations where it's like I want to like it more, but I'm still not sold on it myself. What about you, Mike?
When I look at her compared to many of the other Justice Lords, I think she's on the top end of the spectrum for them.
Not a
I
nice
think
spectrum, though.
no. She brings some interesting things, and I like the perplex top dial. I think what we liked about the defense was just with the combination of protected outwit and protected pulse wave and invulnerability, you know that you're always reducing 2 from whatever damage is being dealt out. So it does sort of give her a better chance. And I kind of liked how if you do manage to get her for that hit, you pop her onto the flurry. So maybe she can retaliate nicely. She's okay though. She's still, I don't see me really looking at spending 90 points on her in the meta with what she's got.
All right, Jay?
I don't know what it is about this set. I keep on building these really cool teams, but then the characters are one keyword short. Like, my thought is you can give her the power gem with that cool 10 plus effect of dealing the pen. So you hit them for 6 damage, and then the pen, and then the Justice Lord's trait, and then you play Q with the deity keyword to guarantee that hit, but then she doesn't have deity for some reason.
She's not that kind of Wonder Woman, I guess.
But actually, I just said that, but she has Warrior, and you could eddy it. So
There you go.
Honestly, I don't think that's actually a team, but I think that might be another fun thing to try out when your buddy wants to, when your friend wants to practice and whatever.
All right, we're on to the chases. Let's try to blast through these now, guys. We have the Lex Luthor chase. He is 40 points or 10 points. Let's Cause Trouble is the opposite of the old Trouble Alert. So if you hit 3 times or get a critical hit, that's when you can trigger this, which gives you the free to bring him into the game. And then on a 4 to 6, instead of taking damage, they actually pop off the board. Back to the sideline even. Sorry. Curse of Superman, you fooled me again. When characters that can use super strength modify attack +2 when attacking Lex Luthor, and they get +2 defense when attacked by this Lex Luthor. His other trait, that's as many as 4 10s, and that's terrible. It's a reference to a book and cakes. When a finalized attack roll is a 10, give Lex Luthor a cake token. If he hasn't removed one this turn, when Lex Luthor has 4 or more cake tokens for the rest of the game, he has. When a friendly character attacks before the attack roll, you may remove a cake token. If you do, the minimum result of the attack roll is 10. The last click is the dial you get on the Causing Trouble. Wonder Woman was me, so we move to Mike.
I feel kind of meh about him. Obviously, I'm biased because there's going to be a lot of other of these chases we're going to look at that I think are much more viable as your sideline stuff. I don't think I'm ever going to roll enough 10s to get cake tokens to ever benefit from it, right? So that's really the only reason why I look at this Luthor and I'm like, why would I bother? Because I just don't imagine myself rolling a lot of 10s. I feel like Devin should play him. He rolls a lot of 10s, and I think he would do really well with Luthor.
All right. Jay?
His enhancement and his actual stats are perfectly serviceable as a Let's Cause Trouble, but there's just so many good ones and so many good Trouble Alerts, it's hard. Yeah, the 10s aren't going to happen, because if you're playing him at 10 points, he's going to die before that happens. You're not playing him at 40, because 40 is as many as 4 10s, and that's terrible for the points.
Moving on.
That was good, though.
Yeah, it was well played. Okay, Gorilla Grodd is either 40 points or 10 points as well. Let's Cause Trouble trait. Curses the Flash. You foiled me again. Characters that can use hypersonic speed modify attack +2 when attacking only Gorilla Grodd. Characters that can use hypersonic speed modify defense when attacked by Gorilla Grodd. Revenge on Gorilla City is his other trait. Free once per turn for all characters with this effect. Roll a d6. On a 3 to 4, give each opposing character within 4 squares of Gorilla Grodd that occupies entering terrain an action token. On a 5 to 6, deal each opposing character within 4 squares of Gorilla Grodd that occupies entering terrain 1 penetrating damage. And then a special movement power, which he has on the one click for the 10 point, or the first 2 and the last one for his 40 points. Lead the guerrilla invasion of Earth's greatest cities. Leap, climb, mind control. When Gorilla Grodd uses leap, climb, and moves 4 squares or less after resolutions, he can use either mind control or quake at no cost. Jay.
I don't want to say he's oppressively good, but I already thought that Jason Wingard was going to be best in format after rotation. And I also play tested with him. I got a turn with 2 Jasons, and then I got enough hits to Gorilla Grodd. It was dumb. The mind control, the quake, and power. It's just, he's so good at 10 no matter what you do with him. It's just, and he has other keywords like animal. I hate this 10-point theme fluff, and he's just one of the best.
All right. Mike?
Yeah, he's fantastic 10-point theme fluff, especially with Ruler, especially with that trait where you can potentially give an action token or deal some penetrating damage to people with a free action. You could potentially get a free quake in there just by moving this guy. So much value for 10 points, both on the map as part of your team or on the sideline.
Yeah.
That trait is so good you might actually use Costed Smoke Cloud.
Damn straight.
All right. Next up, we have the Black Manta, 40 points, or I believe 10 as well. Hey, how about that?
Yeah, they're all okay.
Let's cause trouble trait. Curses Aquaman. You fully melee again. Characters with Dolphin get +2 attack against Black Manta, and they get +2 defense when he's attacking them. Set the oceans on fire. Free once per turn for all characters with this effect. Roll d6. On a 3 to 4, give each opposing character within 4 squares of Black Manta that occupies water terrain an action token. On a 5 to 6, give each opposing character within 4 squares of Black Manta that occupies water terrain 1 penetrating damage. And a special attack power, Hook, Line, and Stinker. When Black Manta hits after resolutions, choose one, place a hit character adjacent to Black Manta, or generate a water terrain marker in his square and a hit character's square. I mean, if you're using one of those make water teams, okay. But I'm probably picking Grodd over this one. But I think
Totally.
Yeah. And there's another one that we're probably going to pick over this one as well. But we'll talk about that later. Mike, anything you wanted to add there?
Yeah, no. I like Black Manta. Like, I'm a fan of the character, but yeah, no.
Jay?
I know that it's a mistake that we put that whoever coded this put Stinker in there, but it's true. They should have previewed him first instead of last.
That's a typo?
Yes, it should be Stinker, but it's true.
It.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know why this is previewed last. Like, what? Like, no thank you.
I know why this was previewed last. All right, next up, Brainiac. Also 40 or 10 points. The 10 points is the last click that we see here. 6 range, 3 targets in Justice League team ability for Cosmic Future in Justice League, Legion of Doom, Robot and Scientist keywords. I'm spending more time on the keywords on this one just because you might see this one on board. Let's Cause Trouble. Curses Kal-El, you foiled me again. Characters that can use invulnerability, modify attack +2, and vice versa when they're being attacked by Brainiac. The Earth, it disappeared once per turn for all characters with this effect. Roll d6. On a 3 to 4, give each opposing character within 4 squares of Brainiac that occupies elevated terrain an action token. On a 5 to 6, deal them each 1 penetrating damage. And then special movement power. I just show up. Phasing teleport. When Brainiac uses phasing teleport and moves 4 squares or less after resolutions, you can use incapacitate at no cost. Mike, thoughts on Brainiac?
If you can't see how amazing this figure is at 10 points, you don't Heroclix, bro. That's all I gotta say. Ooh. I mean, cosmic keyword, robot keyword, scientist keyword. Again, just at 10 points, it's a figure that can phase teleport 6 squares, use outwit, potentially do a free incap if he only moves 4 squares, and then roll this d6 and potentially either do penetrating damage or give an action token to everybody within 4 squares or every opposing character within 4 squares on elevated. Oh my God. There's so much there. There's just so much.
Yeah. Anything you wanted to add there, Jay?
This is the most I would pay double the cost for every individual thing, and it does what? Like, yeah, outwit, mobile incap, theme fluff, that stupid trait. Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't even know what this game is anymore.
All right. Next up, we have the Green Arrow, who's a troubler So he can come in if you can take a free action if your character made the third miss or a critical miss. People that are too close, my occasional weakness. He gets characters within 2 squares of him get +2 attack, and characters within 2 squares of him get +2 defense. To foil Dr. Gulliver and his worldwide shrink ray. When Green Arrow starts the game, an opponent generates a Dr. Gulliver bystander in the starting area. That's when he starts the game. That means if he's called in by the trouble alert as well. When that bystander is KO'd, turn Green Arrow to click number 1, even if he was brought into the game via trouble alert or at 25 points. If he is 40 points, also modifies combat values +1 this game. Dr. Gulliver is got sidestep, smoke cloud, willpower, outwit. He is tiny, and he's got a trait that gives him a shrink ray at the beginning of the turn. The player whose force this is part of rolls a d6. Until your next turn, or on a 1, until your next turn, all other characters that have standard damage symbols have tiny symbols instead, and their equipment becomes unequipped. Oh man, Jay.
I have to give a round of applause to whoever at WizKids works in the Let's Make Jason Wingard Better Every Set department, because wow. I mean, equipment's basically the only like added thing you can do, and then just being able to like, and it's not even like they drop it, like they unequip it. Like you can score it if it's unequipped KO, which I know isn't that common, but like, and also, yeah, just as a trouble alert, that's pretty solid. Like just, and even if they are within 2, just sidestep away. You don't get the weakness. It can go 12 for 1 or 11-3, 10-4 if you know you're gonna, if you feel like you're gonna hit. And yeah, making a pog that they potentially want to have to take action to KO. It's not autonomous, so yeah.
All right. Michael, anything you wanted to add there?
No, not really. God damn, Jason Wingard.
I'll try and be dumber next time. Don't worry. Sorry about that.
Next up, we have the Wonder Twins, who are either 25 or 10 points. They're trouble alert characters. Wonder Twin powers activate. Free. Choose a dark blue standard power and a purple standard power. The Wonder Twins can use the the chosen powers until your next turn. 2 instances of the same standard power are redundant. Being useless are occasional weakness. So you get +2 attack attacking Wonder Twins and +2 defense when being attacked by the Wonder Twins. Cute. That's what I'm gonna say. They're cute. I don't know, Mike.
Why would I?
Jay.
You guys are so wrong. You pay 25 points for barrier, 50 points for alternating barrier. Are you kidding? Like you, and you could like maybe randomly force blast somebody for damage. You have willpower. They have a rollout. They're 6 clicks or 20. Like they're one of the best chases. Just like the barrier.
Just stop yourself. Just stop it.
Okay, sorry, the figure's bad, and also I'm wrong and bad at Heroclix.
Just stop it.
No, well, I mean, okay, to kind of, I see where Jay's coming from. For 25
yes,
points, you get barrier and you get willpower, and you can do it. It's, I'm not trouble alerting these guys in. I'm just saying that now.
No, I agree. There's no reason to do that unless the force blast is actually a thing.
And a 6-click character for 25 points is a good bargain with shape change across the board. Gotta say that. And yes, you're right. It's a good, solid 25-point barrier.
That's really good.
That's good. It's fine. It's just, what Justice League team am I playing with barrier? Because the Justice League is just moving so much further than these guys are.
PJ played, I think, 2 of them on his Batman post-rotation team.
Yeah, okay.
So, I don't know. If he did it, I think it's probably okay.
Fair. All right. Next up, Black Vulcan. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. I'm probably a little bit more plus. This is the thing, though. It's like, hold on. All right, I'm jumping back here. That's one team that the Wonder Twins are on, and I don't think they're the big part of that team. The big part of that team is the Batman. So they're a support for a specific part of a team, sure, but they're not great figures. They just have a utility in that specific
25-point barrier. I can't believe we're having this argument.
I don't know, man. I'm like, it's okay. It's a 25-point barrier. Not gonna argue with that. Sure, you can give it willpower. All right, cool, whatever. But it's, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's it's liquefied when it gets attacked. You know.
Well, they also only get the +2 when targeting only them. So yeah, if they want to focus fire and whatever. I don't know.
If there's more than this Batman team that they're good on, sure, we'll say they're a good
No,
figure.
I'm just
But if they're
saying one
just good on this
example.
Batman team,
I'm saying that was one example, and they haven't been a thing that long. So I don't know.
all right. Black Vulcan, Trouble Alert character, being forced to wear pants, my character's weakness. Characters that can use barrier, smoke cloud, get +2 attack against them. Special attack power, energy explosion, poison. When Black Vulcan uses either, he deals penetrating damage with it. Oh, that's really good. And then, that I have that time travel powers. Did I not mention that? Probability control. Once per turn, you may reroll a friendly character's super senses roll. Mike, you get Black Vulcan.
I like him. I would say that he falls in the category of the chase that I would most likely actually field at full points versus lower points. Not that I'm planning to, but I look at him and I'm like, okay, well, there's stuff there and there's value there, and sure, penetrating energy explosion with a triple target is pretty cool. I like that. Who doesn't like that? The probability control that sadly isn't top dial if you play him at 50, but you can get it eventually. So he's pretty cool like that, and definitely there's a lot of value there at 25 points. Again, just to have another figure on there filling in space, and then eventually getting that probability control on the last click when you play him at 25 points. So he's kind of neat.
Jay?
Second best Trouble Alert after Firestorm. With all these swarmy teams, and when you're going to actually get him to just penetrating poison like a Retaliator or a lot of these one-click things, it's good. The weakness is almost never going to matter.
Yeah.
Even if you just get the poison off the Trouble Alert, that's probably more than good enough, but also just maybe getting the energy explosion is crazy, especially because hopefully you're close enough to actually use it. And if you ever randomly get the last click power, that's like nice, but kind of whatever, not shooting for it. But yeah, just the penetrating poison alone is amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's really good as a Troubler, Colin. My eyes keep getting drawn to that probability control. It's just not gonna happen. So I gotta give up hope on it. You know what I mean? Or, he's being ignored and I roll down to it. That's probably where I'm gonna see the probability control, I think. I want to go back to Wonder Twins. I'm gonna say, okay, I get it. I get it now. Okay. But I'm going to say this. I hate barrier teams, and that's why I'm
okay. I thought it was because
you
just hate the Wonder Twins.
Even when I did build a team that had 2 guys with barrier, I forgot to use it 9 times out of 10. That's what I think is what's killing me on this.
You're
aggro. You would never want to play barrier tech. I understand that.
All right.
I'm taking nothing back.
All right. Samurai. How many times do I have to talk about this character? I feel like I've talked about Samurai to death. Trouble Alert. Things not covered by Samurai tradition, my occasional weakness. So if a character wasn't on the starting force, they modify their attack +2 and get +2 defense. And then his other trait, it gives him Force Blast, Phasing Teleport, Telekinesis. When he uses Force Blast, Telekinesis, after resolutions, choose a character that was placed by that power and roll a d6. On a 4 to 6, you may give that character an action token, or you may remove an action token from that character. Knockback places a character. They want to point that out. Who had Black Vulcan?
Me.
All right, so Jay, you get to wrap this up.
Trouble Alert with poison, and then you either do an exploit attack or you use the Force Blast, and then maybe give them a token. Or if it's a WWE character on a token, you take a token off of them, or you TK. I guess this is the one you want to crit miss into most often. But if you're playing like a Justice League team, you have 700 actions, you're fine. But yeah, another amazing Trouble Alert. Probably, I think top 4 is reasonable. Just the poison, it's not penetrating poison, but just poison plus so much other stuff, and also 17 reflexes is pretty good. Not much stuff besides pogs and shifting focus are gonna matter. I guess other Trouble Alerts are troublemakers, but not a non-existent weakness, but close to it.
Mike, anything you want to add?
Well, it's way less of a weakness in post rotation when you're not worrying about ID card call-ins as much, right? He would have been way softer pre-rotation because everything's a call-in nowadays. But he's fantastic. I would play him sideline. I would play him on the map. He's great. The idea of TKing up a figure and taking a token off your own guy, awesome. So I love this samurai. He's so great.
Mm-hmm. All right, that wraps up the Justice League Unlimited set. Holy smokes. I think there was too much to say about commons, and that was the problem.
That's how it usually goes. We go too much on the lower rarities.
Well, yeah, we gotta either leave them behind or they were really good in this set. There's a lot to say. Anyway, only one question in the chat, and it was from Dan the Man, who wants to know: so they're still having rotations during the pandemic? They should push it back. I disagree, because what's being rotated we are sick of already. We've been playing it long enough. It's seen enough play. We get it. It doesn't. And really, the only they would maybe see. Would there have been another round of WKOs?
I don't think so. I think they would have been July.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. So it would have been post U.S. Nationals. So U.S. Nationals would have been the last chance to see anything. I think. Honestly, in the end, just let them rotate. These are all the things we're already done with. We've seen them played. It's time to move on. That's what my takeaway on it. Does anybody want to add?
Well, the other thing. There's so much more Rock Online now, so you're actually going to get more use out of them before rotation than you would have otherwise. There's 3 win maps a week, and there's regionals, and there's other random people running random tournaments. You're going to get actually more use out of them in these months than you would have if this had all not been a thing. So I vehemently disagree because of that.
Mike, anything you want to add?
No, you guys covered it well.
It's like, I'm sick of it all. Just let it go.
Just let it go.
I think it's because I play too much Heroclix. We all play too much Heroclix. All right. So that about wraps it up. I didn't leave any questions up on the Facebook. If you ask questions on Facebook, I'm sorry, because these episodes take a long time. We actually just hit the 3-hour mark. So it's time for us to wrap this up. Mike, thank you very much for joining me today. Jay, thank you very much for joining me today. Just a heads up for anybody who may have missed it. If you're a patron, check your patron inbox. I'm giving an update. We are not charging for patrons on May 1st. We are back in action come June 1st, though. Whether everything is cleared up or not, it's time to get back on top of things. We also want to take a second to thank our sponsors over at MajesticCCG.com. Check out the Apex Insiders. $3 a month gets you access to brain dumps from some of the greats in the game of HeroClix. So hope to hear more from them out soon. Build up your game, guys. Get on those roll 20 games. We're not playing roll 20 tonight, guys. It's way too late already. Everybody stay safe out there. Be careful. Get on roll 20. Get some practice. Practice will make your teams better. Have a good night, everybody.